welcome everyone to Circle Debate, the Wrestling Delorean Podcast, and Cage My IQ Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's all three combined into one here, ladies and gentlemen. It's the host of Stevie's What I've been seeing. Here will be Familia, the greatest faction of all time, because these two gentlemen, of course, they provide you the world of professional wrestling and mixed martial arts. And, I'm just going to let them say, I'm going to let this guy say, tell him.
The world, Craig. Shit, not just the city, the world.
That's right, the world. They take over the world, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I have my brother, my other brother, Mike De Niro from the Wrestling Delorean Podcast, and my boy, Big Dan from Cage My IQ. Gentlemen, how are you guys today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing real good. I can't wait to talk about the show.
Absolutely. And
I'm doing great as well. I'm just coming back down to reality, of course. I went to the event, so I just got back yesterday and had a day to get back used to the time zone difference.
It's always rough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm pretty sure you had a phenomenal time, which we're going to get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to get into recapping Forbidden Door that happened this past Sunday on Fight TV and BR Live, of course, and New Japan World. This was a hell of a show because there was a lot of changes last minute that everything just happened unexpectedly and additional into the buy-in especially. So we're going to get into it. We're going to start actually from the buy-in all the way to the main event. So that's what we're going to get into here today because, we saw some, unfamiliar faces that we haven't seen in the U.S. for quite some time. So let's go ahead and start off with the buy-in, which is the first match of the evening for the pre-buy-in was, of course, QT Marshall and Aaron Solo versus Chaos versus Hiroki Goto and Yoshi Hashi. I'm going to say this right quick, man. I was really glad to see Yoshi Hashi getting his moment of shine. And also, Goto too. Like, the fans were cheering. I mean, you were there, Dan, so you heard the fans.
Yeah, he got a big pop when his entrance came out. They popped him really well. I thought it was really cool that they came out. They did, of course, they both had the sticks and they did the coming as one. They walked down. They put on a great show. They are one of those tag teams that have gelled really well since they're not usually in a tag team. Of course, they're part of Chaos, but they're both single stars that they kind of just put together, and that combination has just worked well. And I felt like it was just they had to put them over because they've been on like a standstill of late. I feel like they were champions, they lost it, and then they lost a rematch, and they've been kind of out of it both. And then going into the G1, it's a perfect time to kind of get out on a high and get them ready in a couple of months for the tag league in the fall.
Absolutely, man. But talk about it and keep breaking it down. Let the people know who are Hiroki Goto and Yoshi Hashi. So break down the match. You were there live, man. I'm pretty sure you felt the crowd, how you mentioned. But throughout the whole match overall, what people was really involved. I mean, break it down for us, this match.
Yeah, because everybody, of course, QT Marshall got booed really big. They are going to be the heel jobber team that comes in there. I thought it was good. Like, Aaron Solo did have a couple good moments there, which was nice because he's one of those wrestlers that's very underrated because he can sell really great. And then, of course, his name is big from Sammy Guevara's vlog. He's on there every week. And then if you don't know that, then you know he is Bailey's ex-fiance as well. So I feel like he's a type of guy. I feel like he needs his moment soon where he has that great underrated like shock and win. But right now, he's just there, of course, with the group. The only guy in that group that really wins is Anthony Ogogo. They like he wins, and then everybody else loses. But then he's always on dark, so you don't know about it. Because I feel like he's going to be like a project for the next year or two. But, of course, I liked how it ended with the double team, two finishers that, of course, Goto and Hashi had. Yoshihashi is a guy that in the past 2 years has improved tremendously from when he started. He started out, a lot of people didn't know how well he was, and then he got put into his tag team. he went, and ever since he won the never openweight tag titles and then the tag titles, it's changed the output of his career. Like last G1, he had all the best matches. Like if you put together total time in the G1, he had the most.
Agreed.
And it's just been great for him. Like it sucks that they took away the IC title because that would have been a thing I could have seen as like his big accomplishment was him to win the IC title, but then they took it away. So I think the tag field is his way now of being featured. And I don't like the fact that they were put into the first match. Maybe they should have been put in the last one, but this was definitely a match to highlight them as a tag team even more in the U.S.
Agreed. Absolutely. Bro, De Niro, take it away, my brother. Your thoughts about this opening match?
I agree with Dan. This definitely felt like it should have been either like co-main event or main event of the buy-in, because like this and the Swerve Scott and Keith Lee match with Desperado and that was insane too. But we'll get to that. I think that this match was good. I really loved how the fans were chanting Yoshi Hashi. That was awesome to see him get that moment. It was awesome because I was like, are they chanting Yoshi Hashi? Because I've been a fan of Yoshi Hashi, but I'm not sure how many people in the United States actually like are a fan of Yoshi Hashi. There's New Japan fans, and then there's like fans in the United States that only know like the top names in New Japan. So like to hear the fans chanting Yoshi Hashi, I thought that was a cool moment. I always think it's so weird when QT Marshall tries to pull out like these high flying moves. Like he makes it look so slow, and it doesn't seem like this is his style of wrestling. So it's always weird to see him try to pull out like 450s and shit like that. But nonetheless, always been a fan of Goto. I said that when we do our like New Japan shows, I always is a big fan of Hiroki Goto. So to see Yoshihashi and Goto on this show, we knew they were going to probably win. Aaron Solo and QT Marshall, like Dan said, are not booked as winners on this show. So we knew what was going to happen. It's just great to see them here in the United States and a part of this show. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, indeed. I enjoyed it too. Hey, kudos to the factory too, because especially QT, I never thought I would see that motherfucker try to do a 450. I swear, I just never thought in my mind he would do a 450 splash. Like what? Man,
daring. It just didn't look right though.
It did not look right.
It's like when you're like creating a wrestler in like a video game, and then you give like the 450 to somebody. It's like just to do it for comedy purposes. It's like that's what it looked like. But
and I will say this, and I will say this, for as big of a pay-per-view that this was, somehow they found a way onto the card, whether it was the buy-in or the pay-per-view itself. They always find a way to have a spot to wrestle. So I give them props for that.
Oh yeah,
for sure. It's a testament to them for sure.
Agreed. I'll give them that credit to for Aaron Solo, how you mentioned as well, Dan. Yeah, another underrated that he's gonna get a spotlight soon, and I'm hoping he does get it, because Solo, he is very underrated in the ring, is not given the credit, but he will definitely, he's shining now. I mean, how you mentioned him being in a vlog, so we will see him more often of him, and I'm glad he's getting exposure is even a New Japan Strong. That's one thing that I'm happy that he's getting that exposure along with QT. So I'm happy for the factory itself, even though they're everybody annoyed of QT, but you got to give QT his credit. He's getting the people routed up and hating him. So kudos to him. That's how he's supposed to sell. That's how he's supposed to have fans intrigued. So kudos to them. All right, now we get into the second match of the pre-buy-in. Of course, the Lance Archer, of course, the Murder Hawk Monster himself versus Nick Comoroto. This match, I was like, what? This is going to actually happen? It just like, I don't know. For me, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know.
There's a tweet that was put out earlier in the day where Lance Archer goes, I was supposed to fight Rocky Romero on this in a cage match, but he's ducking me. So I'm like, are they going to put him on a match? Because I was like, Rocky already is busy. So I'm like, if they were putting him in another match, it'd be something random. And then this got announced. Literally, no one knew this match was going on until they announced it was about to come on. And I'm just like, when were we going to announce it? I was like, I'm not going to complain too much because it's an extra match. But everybody knew it was going to be a short match. They gave Nick a couple of moves. I think once again it's scary seeing Lance Archer getting dropped on his head. This is the second time. Luckily, nothing happened. But it was a way to just have him go up against a big guy, have him go over on him, and then get Lance Archer that moment, especially since he's going to be in the G1 in a couple weeks. So I guess this is like his coming out before he goes to Japan.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. But, I mean, overall, man, what were your thoughts, Danny? How do you give Nick Comoroto his performance on this?
He always does a good job. I think there's easily room for improvement with being safe in the ring, of course. But he's that big guy that is always going to be compelling against the lesser-known talent, but then he always puts over the stars. So he can look good, but then at the end, he winds up losing, and he takes the brute from Lance Archer. Like, it was a good match. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, but they could have at least kind of told everybody about it, though. It was just sudden, so it was a lot to take in.
Absolutely, it was. De Niro, your thoughts?
It was definitely a hoss fight. Starting right off the bat, like I thought it was going to be something catastrophic because we already seen Lance Archer land on his head and like had to like take some time off because of that. And then first thing we see in the matchup is him trying to like do, I don't know if he was just going for like a shoulder tackle or if he meant to do that rotation. But when he like jumped into the ring and landing on his head, it was just like, oh my God. But luckily he got right back up. I was a little shocked by this match too, just because like I didn't see it announced anywhere. So I was like, did I miss something? Was something going on maybe on Dark or Dark Elevation that I didn't see? But I love Lance Archer, but I always like seeing Nick Comoroto too. There's something about him where it's like, this guy just seems like a throwback. And we had Kevin Kelly saying that on commentary that he's a throwback to like the, All Japan Bruiser Brody days. So I don't know. There's just something about him that I think that, I don't know if it's him being with the factory or what, but there's just something about him that I want to see more of him. I want to see him win. If he is in the factory, I would give him the role of Anthony Ogogo. He should be the one that's like winning matches. We've seen Nick Comoroto take losses to a lot smaller guys. I remember seeing Nick Comoroto lose quite convincingly to Matt Sydal. And Matt Sydal's a legend in like the independent scene, but still, like Nick Comoroto looks like a guy who should like be swatting Matt Sydal out the air. Instead, he's taking all these like bumps and rolls and all that. So it's like this is a guy where I feel like if packaged right, he could be a threat. He could be a top like big man that you could really like make some money off of. It just doesn't seem like they believe in him as much as maybe I believe in him. Nonetheless, I did enjoy the match.
And then can I point out that you just made a good point with Kevin Kelly, how happy I was that he was on commentary. I wanted him on commentary. And then we'll get into in a second how JR came out for the last half of the matches. But I love the fact that they started out with Taz, Excalibur, and Kevin Kelly. Yes. And Kevin Kelly is one of my favorite announcers, and he did it. I had to watch it again to hear him. Like I saw him there, but of course I didn't have any commentary. I had to rewatch it, when I got home so I could hear the commentary, and I thought he did a great job as always.
Yeah.
He did.
He's a consummate professional, and he's been amazing at his job for many years.
Oh, man. Definitely. He is. Definitely. I mean, this match was very short, powerhouse. Kudos to Comoroto. He did a great performance. I was still scared for Archer, that moonsault. I'm like, oh, my God. And he's just, man, I don't know, man. Those moonsaults, you got to calm down a little bit because it's scary.
I don't want to sound like one of the old heads in wrestling, but a guy his size, you don't gotta be doing that shit.
No, you don't
gotta be doing it.
No, that absolutely not. But all right, let's get into the third match of the buy-in, and that's of course Keith and Swerve Strickland versus Desperado and Shinobu Kanemaru. Man, I could tell you that this right here was
wonderful,
and it was wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you that it was a fantastic, wonderful match. So I'm going to let Dan take the floor. Thoughts about this one, my brother?
The first thing I'm going to say is it's two things. One is I thought Swerve and El Desperado, they just have chemistry together.
Yes.
You watch that match, and then it was just flawless when they were in the ring. And two, if I could get a one-on-one match between the two of them, I'd be set for life, because I don't know what it is with them. I think what set it off was the ending to it, where, of course, El Desperado caught his legs down, and it looks like it just perfectly fell down like this, and then Swerve came up and then just did the legs to the stomach of him, which kind of led to the end of the match. But I just thought the match was great. And even Nick said, give Swerve a title.
What's going on, Nick? That's right. Make sure you subscribe to the Universal Wrestling Podcast. They provide you a good
I thought Colorado and Lee starting the match was funny, where Colorado got onto the top rope and was like, hey, let's do the hand grab. And how they did a little bit of just joking there. And then he just kept on attacking the legs of Keith Lee. I thought that was kind of smart to do that, because I said in the beginning, Keith Lee was the one guy that didn't fit in this match, because they're all small, and then he's the big guy. So they had to take him out of the match for quite some time by hitting him in the legs, taking him out to the outside. Of course, they had to use the alcohol to the eyes of him. I knew that was going to happen. Either that was going to happen or they were going to block it. But they neutralized Swerve in the ring for majority of the match. And, of course, I felt like Desperado and Camarado were going to pull off the upset, because I felt like maybe they were going to go with the angle of spinning these guys up. But as you saw in the end, when Keith Lee and Swerve won, you had Hobbs, and then you had Ricky Starks in the box, which they were actually in the box below us.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't see them until we watched it later. Like, they were on the Titantron, so we got to watch it there. But I thought that was a perfect way to swerve to the rivalry once again, and hopefully they do it where the winner is the number one contender, because that'd be a great way to do that between that. But this was a great match. I gave this match like a 9 out of 10. It was one of my favorite matches on the card, because they just worked well together. Like I said.
Yes, that's right. Oh, man.
I love it.
Oh, we do love it. That's right. De Niro, take it away, my brother.
Yeah, man. The quality of this matchup is not a pre-show quality matchup. This matchup definitely deserved to be on that main show. It's just that there was so much already on that main show. But God, man, like, I'm such a big fan of El Desperado, man. Every time I get to see El Desperado, especially in the States, is dope. And with what's called Swerve and Keith Lee, I'm a big fan of them too. I like the team. I definitely think that sooner or later we're going to see them split up and go, their singles route, because that's why they were brought in. They were not brought in to be a team. They were brought in to be singles wrestlers. But I'm enjoying this team as it happens. But yeah, honestly, this matchup there was too much action to even like sit down and list off, oh, I like this, I like that, I like this. It was just, the speed was nonstop. Everyone had such great chemistry in there, though. Like, you would think that these two teams had matches before. It was really good chemistry, and it was like, wow, this is probably the first time that all of them are touching, and it's insane, because like you said, like Strickland and Desperado were like, you would think that they were rivals for years, the way that they were working together. Like that's just a testament to how good like these guys are. But definitely, man, this show, you knew the show was going to be insane when this type of match quality is on the buy-in. This was a great match, especially for the buy-in. This was on YouTube, I believe.
Yes,
like if I was a fan who I didn't have the money to buy this pay-per-view and I saw this shit on YouTube and I saw the rest of the card, like I'm telling you this right now, this is the match that makes you like hit up somebody and be like, yo, can I borrow 60? Because I need to see this fucking match. You know what I mean? So definitely.
Or can I come over and watch it at your house?
Exactly, right? Yo, come over, we're going to split this bill, right?
and another spot on the card that on the match I liked is when Swerve jumped off the middle rope and did the back kick to the head of Desperado. I thought that was a really a great spot there. That he did there. Every good spot I felt like was between those two guys. Like, of course, Keith Lee and Camarano had a couple good moments, and then especially towards the end when he got the win. But I just thought that they just clicked right out the bat. They didn't even have to try. It was just fluid. And that's why I'm like, come on, give me what I want. Give me a one-on-one match.
Give me what I want.
That's right. You got to give Dan what he wants, man, because that match was really good.
For sure. I also love that double team move where Swerve like pops with the wrestler up and then Keith Lee hits the pounce. Like, so good, man. So good. But yeah, definitely amazing matchup.
This is such good shit.
Because it was good shit, man. That match was fantastic. I agree with what you guys say. There's nothing much to add on, but we need to see Swerve to go to New Japan and challenge Desperado. That's what we need to see. Mm-hmm. I want to see Desperado's face when he hears Swerve's music coming out of New Japan.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Exactly. That's what it's going to be. He's going to show up. And oh man,
the crowd was going like, of course, Keith Lee and Swerve side. At one point, they were like, "Bask in His glory." That everybody was singing that, and then halfway through, they're like, "Whose house?" Swerve's house. Right afterwards, so it definitely worked out great for the two of them.
I would love to see Strickland next year in the Best of the Super Juniors. That would be awesome.
Yes.
To see
Oh my God, they need to make that happen. And yes, Nick, I agree with you. Yes, come to your senses. Come over here. They need to either make it an AEW or New Japan. I don't care where. They need to make that match happen between these two because
for sure.
And not only that, I think Desperado tweeted, towards I'll kick your ass later. Like he wants his rematch, but with Swerve only. So man, I'm looking forward to that. And of course, the main event for the buy-in, of course, you have the Ass Boys, and of course, Mr. Billy Gunn himself and Max Caster versus New Japan Dojo out in LA. Of course, Coughlin leading the way with Dennis Knight, DKC, and Yuya. But I'll digress very briefly on this one for myself. I mean, this match was very quick. We did see, Danhausen, of course, put in Ass Boys, put in that song. Yeah. And of course, the Ass Boys busted.
Take me to son of a bitch. Take me to him. Come on. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go.
That's what they busted a Papa Vinny just leaving.
Pretty much, right?
A quick question, because everybody in the arena laughed for the whole Very Nice Boys thing with that, and then they busted the back. Was there a video that followed to show where they went, or did they just disappear?
They disappeared.
Yeah, because everybody was wondering what happened to them because they just didn't come back to the match and right up being a 4-on-2. But then you did get Billy Gunn show out in that match.
Oh, yes, he
did. Yeah. And then he left at the ending for Max Caster to do, of course, the mic drop, which was great.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All I can say is you can never go wrong when you hear Max Caster talking about, you guys on your dojo fucking
with Shibata's balls.
With Shibata's balls and watching hentai.
Yeah. I'll show you. I got that all on video. I took the video of it, and I have it on my phone.
I cannot wait to see the blog for that, man. Oh my God! But I went nuts that way because I was like, oh my God, he went that far with hentai. I swear, Matt was here watching it with me, and Matt was just like, but I love hentai. I'm like, I think we all do.
Yeah, and then of course, me and Nick were sitting together, so I took a lot of pictures and videos from where we're wrestling, and then my phone died halfway through this event, so he took pictures from here, and then we just shared them together. And
you did one half, you did the next half.
Yeah. So it worked out great. It's gonna take me a couple of days to put everything together, but I'm gonna have a blog out for it at least by the end of the week.
Awesome.
Can't wait to see that.
But other than that, take it away with this one. Dan, talk to us about it.
It's just like you said. It was very quick. You had a lot of double teams early because they were using the 4-on-2 advantage. But of course, they're the young boys. They're there to make Max Caster and Billy Gunn look great. And I thought it was great to see him because we haven't seen Billy Gunn wrestle in a while. I feel like it's been months.
True. That's very
and he's in his 50s, but boy, does he look jacked for being in his 50s. He looks in great shape. And then he was able to just do – it was very quick. I felt like this was like a 5-minute match. He went in there, did what he had to do. He hit the famouser, set up Max for the mic drop, and then they scissored at the end, of course. It was for them two there. But The one thing that I will say that I didn't get to see was, of course, Alex Coughlin wear the Android outfit. They all came in jackets, I guess, for Unity. But I'm like, if he would have wore that, that would have been better because he graduated already. He's technically not a young lion no more. And I felt like they should have showcased it. So that's my only little nitpick of this. But it was cool that, of course, the LA Dojo got represented, and then, of course, the rap was hilarious. So,
oh man, one thing I do want to add, I like the fact that Kevin Kelly did threw that out there during the match, and he explained, "Oh, these are young lions. But once you graduate, you get your own persona." So I love the fact that he broke it down during the match. Of what's a young lion and why they're wearing black tights, even, for Taz, even chiming on in and Excalibur. So I love the fact that they provided the knowledge to the audience, like what does this mean? What's a young lion meaning? And then I'm glad that they got that, in details and very brief in how they did it. So kudos to the commentary team for them doing that, because there's a lot of people don't understand, like, what is a young lion? What is this? And I'm glad that Kelly broke it down, and for seeing Excalibur and Taz chiming in too, they did a phenomenal job with that, at least letting the people know.
And I wouldn't say that it's anything to do with this match, but it has something to do with Taz. I think he precursed to something on Twitter, and if it does come true, I'd be very happy. It was something about Hook possibly going to New Japan for a match or two, and then of course Will Ospreay made the comment, "I'll take care of him if he comes over."
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So if that happens, oh my God, I'm gonna go Ned Flanders so much.
Ned Flanders, of course it is.
Yeah.
You might need to keep your hand on that button. There's gonna be a lot of that tonight.
There's gonna be a lot of it today.
A lot of that tonight.
That's right. But go ahead, De Niro, take it away, my brother. Your thoughts of the main event of the buy-in.
Yeah, I was just saying how, the Keith Lee and Strickland match was so good. Like, that could have been the main event of the buy-in. But I'm glad that they did it this way, because the first match of the pay-per-view was so action-packed. So you needed this short little buffer in between, which it made sense. But definitely you knew it was going to be kind of short when the Ass Boys ran out, like, as soon as the match started. But definitely, a lot of people forget that Billy Gunn was a part of New Japan for a little bit. He was the Bullet Club Hunter with Yoshi Tatsu. So it was cool to see him mix it up with some New Japan talent again. Max Caster on the mic, he's just gold, man. The raps he does is just comedy gold. He connects every time. I don't think he ever had a rap where it was like, oh, that one missed. No, he makes sure, like, every week, if he's going to do one a week, he's going to spend all week making sure that he has the punchline for everyone. I'm a big fan of Alex Coughlin, and I really hope to see more of him too. I think that you definitely want to just showcase the young lions here. So since he graduated, I don't know if he was the right guy to put in this matchup, since he already has the gimmick, and this is kind of like going back to, being just one of the young lions. But speaking of the young lions, I definitely do like how they had Kevin Kelly there to explain in deeper thought what the young lions are and what they mean to New Japan and exactly what their role is. Because we knew Excalibur was going to do a lot of the explaining, but having someone that's actually a part of the company, like Kevin Kelly, brought that New Japan flair to the commentary, but also is there to also explain a lot of the things more in depth. We know, we talk about it all the time, Excalibur is really fast. He says things really fast and expects you to catch up and just know, right? He does the quick explanation of things. But having someone like Kevin Kelly there, he was able to really dissect and then go into real deep about what these people's roles, not even just this match, but the whole show, really explaining what the United Empire is, explaining chaos, explaining the meaning of these tag titles, the IWGP tag champions. He was really a great role to put here. And I was really happy that he was there. I know he was also part of the Warrior Wrestling show, wasn't he?
He was. I think he did a sign-in or something. Him and Denise Salcedo were both there, and it was good. But it was just a way of a show out for Kevin Kelly, because he's been with New Japan for a while. He used to be over here in the States, of course, but he's made a name for himself with New Japan.
Because I used to love him in Ring of Honor too. He was a great Ring of Honor commentator.
And I think him being there allowed JR to not have to do as much work as he usually did. It came in halfway through the main card, and instead of taking Kevin Kelly out, they just had a 4-man announcing crew at that point in time, and it worked because they were able to bounce off of each other.
I think the reason why, like, I don't know, this is just me speculating. The reason why I feel like JR was only there for half the show and was for the later half with more names that he already knows, like Ospreay, Okada, Tanahashi, was because if you remember, he used to do the commentary with Josh Barnett for the what's called Access TV specials, and he would butcher these names. He would butcher the names of like the undercard talent in New Japan. It was clear that he wasn't really following the product. So he would just come in, do commentary, and he would just like butcher everyone's names. For a show where you're like really trying to showcase New Japan Pro Wrestling, you don't need your lead commentator just butchering everyone's names and like making it all confusing. Shout out Clark Street. What's good, y'all?
What's going on? What's going on, fam? That's right. Make sure you subscribe to Clark Street Wrestling Podcast.
Definitely. But yeah, I think that's why it was called JR was there, because like you put him on the last couple matches because it's the names that he knows. He knows Ospreay, he knows Okada, he knows Tanahashi. He's not going to butcher anybody's name, and it comes all kind of disrespectful in a way, you know.
And then didn't Tony Schiavone do like one match or?
He only did it once.
He was just there to say Sting.
Because at one point it was like, is there 5 guys on commentary? It almost looked like so many people on commentary, but then he left. And I was like, okay, that's cool that they had him at least come on for one match because Tony Schiavone can do a good job, but he's more so doing like the backstage and then, of course, the interviews. So it's cool to have him at least on there for one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, now let's get into the main card, ladies and gentlemen. The first match, of course, opening the show for the pay-per-view event, the Cajote. Jericho the Cajote with Minoru Suzuki and the Spanish God Sammy Guevara versus Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino, which is Red Shoe's son. I was really happy. I'll get my thoughts very brief out of the way. I was really happy. Especially seeing Umino, he had a hell of a performance, and they gave him the most time and the most shoots. So it's hearing the crowd, even though the crowd is not much familiar with Umino, but you should be paying attention to this kid because this kid is the way how he's been training right now and the way how he's besides not only just New Japan. I think I know he's doing Dragon Gate, I believe so. I don't know where he is.
He's in Rev Pro right now.
Rev Pro, there you go. He's in Rev Pro. There you go. And man, he is killing it. And what I really wanted and it did happen, but I wish we could have had a little bit more with it. It's very fun. It was extremely entertaining. Yes, it was, Devin. I'll tell you one thing though. I finally got to see. Finally, they were one-on-one, mano-a-mano, and that is, of course, Eddie Kingston and Minoru Suzuki. I wanted it forever, and I was Ned Flanders out because it finally happened. And
it still hurts me seeing those chops.
Oh my god!
Can you hear them from where you were? Can you hear the chops?
Yeah. Just in all the matches, those chops were very loud, no matter who it was. Like, I'm trying to think of who the loudest chop was in the whole card itself. But Eddie Kingston had Suzuki beat with those chops. And I like how they began with that. Like, you thought it was going to be Kingston and him, but then Jericho's like, "Yeah, F this," and he tags in Suzuki, and then it's them two, and they went to war. Oh my god, I really loved Shota Umino. I didn't think he was going to be that good because I've only seen a little bit of him because he's been on an excursion for all this time. And then when I started watching New Japan, he was kind of just in the back as Moxley's young boy, of course, doing those funny vignettes and everything. But he had some great spots. The fact that he was able to do the was it Boston Crab on Jericho? I think that had to been Jericho's decision to do that because he wanted to. They really showcased Shota Umino. He did that. He broke out of 2 big time moves. He had a lot of big moments in the match, and a lot of people were getting into it, and there's a lot of close finishes. A lot of people thought that Umino might have gotten a 3. It was close to a 3 count several times, and then whenever he did it, everybody was like, "Oh my god, no!" Of course, Sammy Guevara had a few big moments, I just love this match. Wheeler Yuta, he's one of my favorite guys on the roster right now. Just how he's progressed since joining the BCC, and of course, you kind of knew that the JAS was going to win. I expected Umino to take the fall. How the match was going, they were kind of fooling me with thinking that maybe Shota Umino was going to shock Jericho, but of course Jericho got the Judas effect and then got the pin.
And that was an unexpected Judas effect. I was just like, caught him out of nowhere and pinned him. But like I said, this match was fantastic. Great way to open the pay-per-view event. I really enjoyed it. Umino, man, I'm glad he got his moment. And I'm pretty sure his father, Red Shoes, was really watching the show. I wish he was there, man. I don't know why they didn't bring Red Shoes to the actual event. I would have been awesome to see Red Shoes there, refereeing, at least for the main event. Or the semi-main event, I would have been happy.
I liked that's another thing that I forgot. I liked how they had both announcers there. They had, of course, Justin Roberts, and then they had the New Japan guy. I felt like for the first half, he wasn't doing his full voice. He was just doing I'm going to say the other names. And it wasn't until halfway through, I think the Orange Cassidy and the Will Ospreay match that he started doing the Will Ospreay, that whole thing. That
it took him. That's one thing I ain't gonna lie. I was very disappointed because I was wanting him to do that for every one of them.
Yes,
that's one thing I will say that disappointed me from this event overall was we didn't get to hear or for the American audience to experience the New Japan announcement, how they announced it, and that's the one thing that that's probably one thing I could say I didn't like about that. It just, I wish they could have done it from the beginning, not from towards whole bunch of.
Can I say something about that too? Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying the whole people in our group was not making fun of it, but we were that was a highlight. We're this guy is great. He does how he announces the Japanese things. We were just having a great time the whole weekend, imitating him, and we're looking forward to hearing him do it. And then we're like, damn, he's not doing it yet. And then he finally started doing it, and then it just made the event a lot better. You see him get into it halfway through.
The announcer battle.
Yeah. I gotta say though, something I did find disappointing was I wanted it to feel more like a joint show. This felt like an AEW show with New Japan talent, and I feel like Ring of Honor, when they did the G1 Supercard in Madison Square Garden, you had half the ring looking like a New Japan ring, half the ring looking like their Ring of Honor ring. Yeah. I feel like they could have done something like that here. Having Kevin Kelly there on commentary was cool. Having the ring announcers cool. But it's this did feel like AEW. They had the AEW entranceway. They had the AEW ring. And even down to the referees, you could have had Red Shoes there. I mean, shit. We see Tiger Tori in.
Actually, they did have referees from New Japan Strong.
They had two of them.
Yeah, two of them that I recognized.
I noticed them. I see them in Strong because they always when I've gone to Strong, I see them in Strong.
Yeah, I recognized two of them. I was like, okay, they had a couple Strong referees, and I actually thought that they did better than some of the AEW referees.
I actually agree with you. They did not. They did a fantastic job.
Yeah. AEW referee's been a problem of mine for a while. But
unfortunately,
about this match, I just want to say, if you just look at real quick, if you look at the talent in this matchup, right? Chris Jericho, former world champion everywhere he's been. Minoru Suzuki, former world champion in Noah. The guy's godfather of what we now know as mixed martial arts. Sammy Guevara, former TNT champion. Eddie Kingston, former champion in the Indies, former Chikara champion for many years. I remember how long that reign was. We have the current Ring of Honor pure champion in Wheeler Yuta. The only guy who has not been a champion is Shota Umino. And I got to say, the guy who stood out the most in this matchup was Shota Umino. So I think that's a real testament to him. Shota came and he showed out. That's insane how with all the talent, all the legendary talent in this ring, and all the guys who held champions in this ring, Shota is the guy that we're talking about. That's a testament to him. He definitely came out, showed out, and proved why, he deserves more than what he's getting, I guess. And I want to see a lot more of him in the United States. I want to see more of him in New Japan. Definitely, Shota's going to be a problem. If he's this young and this good, I think he's going to be a problem.
He's going to be.
I need to see some vignette of him meeting up with Moxley backstage. I need
Well,
some
here you
video
go.
of that.
I want it. Oh,
Nice. I didn't
perfect.
And he's wearing the jacket that Moxley gave him right there.
That's dope. That's so dope.
That's all. I didn't see anything of that yet, so that's great. Like that's what I wanted to see to kind of keep that going a little bit. And then I do give credit. Like I have to think that Jericho had a lot to do with showcasing Shota Umino because Jericho is, no matter the guy that he is, he likes to put the shine on some of the younger talent and showcase them a little
100%.
bit. And he's always been a guy to do that. And it's good to see that he took a lot of the damage from Umino. It wasn't like we should showcase him and then have, say, Sammy do it. He took a lot of it. He took the submission. He took some of the moves from Umino. So I give him a lot of props for that.
Yeah, it's more impactful when you're doing it on the legend. Like if Shota's doing it on Sammy Guevara, as good as Sammy is, Sammy's a veteran by this point, but it's like, all right, that's cool, but you're doing it on Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is known as one of the GOATs of professional wrestling. That's only going to raise Shota's stock.
Yeah, absolutely. So any final thoughts on the opening pay-per-view match?
It didn't have to be that good. That matchup didn't have to go balls to the wall like that, but I'm glad that they did.
It exceeded expectations. I didn't think that it was going to be that good for the opening match, but I think I wound up being the perfect spot for it.
Oh,
Absolutely.
for sure. Set the table right.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Now on to the second match of the pay-per-view event, and that is, of course, winner takes all for the IWGP World Tag Team Championships and the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. FTR defending their Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles as Jeff Cobb and Great Khan put in their IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles, and Roppongi Vice, of course, involved in this three-way match. We did see a quick, scary moment when we did see, obviously, it was Hardwood who hurt his shoulder during the match, and it looked like he did I think he dislocated it. I think he did because of how he fell with that elbow drop, and he fell to the right automatically on the left side, not even on the right side, on the left side. How he fell when he gave that elbow drop, automatically you could tell that his bone was out. He's like, oh yeah, he dislocated it, he did, and that's why they went to the back and they popped it right back in, give him some time. Okay, you ready? All right, let's go. And he came out and hell of a performance for all these three teams. Like I gotta give it to all of them because they did a fantastic job. And man, once I heard when I see Hardwood coming out, it's like I know people are gonna give Hardwood shit because it's like more like your NBA Paul Pierce type of style. You know what I mean? Boston Celtics when he goes back and he comes. No, he did really injure himself. So I mean, when I heard the 3 count, I went yes, and I was because because you know why? Because
my God, okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Because we're finally get to see FTR now go to Japan and wrestle. And we said this already before.
I'm so happy.
We're gonna see them at Wrestle Kingdom. That's a fact. We're gonna see that happening for sure.
World Tag League.
Oh, the world. Oh,
ooh, I'm excited for that one.
Oh.
But I think there's a couple of things to talk about in this one. I got like 2 or 3 points.
Take it away.
The first one is, of course, like I got to see Dax get hurt. Like everybody was like, "Oh my God, he's hurt! He's hurt!" Because he walks to the back, he walked to the side of the entranceway, he went to the back to the side. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, what happened to him?" You even see a split moment of Cash looking to his corner, not seeing him, and you see that look of "Oh my God" on his face because he had to kind of like audible. And I think he tagged in Trent Beretta. I think that's who he tagged in.
We talked about that on commentary. Yeah.
He tagged him in, and people were like, why is he tagging him in? I'm like, it's to sell the moment. Like, he had to get himself out of the match to give time. But I felt like when I saw him get hurt, I was like, maybe this might be a perfect thing because, Dax will probably come back, but it allows some shine on Cash Wheeler because Dax has been doing all those singles matches and he's put on great matches, whereas Cash hasn't done so much. But he came in there, had some good moments. I thought Great Khan sitting on his head with that's the one thing that his signature move on the top rope and sit on the opponent's head. He did that to him. Cash took a lot of damage, but then he had some good moments as well. And he was taken out. I thought Rocky Romero looked really good. Trent had his good moments. Yeah. He had them come back out. And I thought it was just crazy. The second point to make was, I wonder if that 4 count was on purpose in the match. When Rocky Romero made the pin, it was 1, 2, you see 3, and then you see 4, and everybody was like, what? He was like, he messed up.
Yeah, there's a big "you fucked up" chant.
Yeah. And they did that. But then towards the end, if you watch, I could see it. I don't know if they showcased it on TV. If you look at Rocky's face after the match, he goes, I got the pin. And he does it. So I don't know if he ad-libbed that to go with it. But I feel like with the G1 being this month, and of course the former champs not being able to wrestle for him, I think that's something that they can do as a title match in July, because they never finished that match because of Great Khan and Jeff Cobb. So I feel like they could do an IWGP tag title match, because technically Rocky Romero did get the 3 pin. It's just that they continued the match.
Shit, you could do that this week on AEW. I mean, you could do that anywhere now. Yeah.
I feel like it's something that they're going to do. But other than that, like, that's the only knock that I have was that ref spot. I don't know if it was real. I don't know if it was a mistake. But they actually did it twice in the match where he did a 4 count. So that's one of my like little critiques of it that kind of knocked down the match a little bit. But I thought all in all, these guys had chemistry in the ring, and they did a great job. And it's great to see that FTR is getting that big time focus. And they even mentioned it in the back where FTR was like in the post media that this is what happened when they put fate into their own hands, and then they went from WWE to AEW. They've been showcased so much. And they even said to all the town in WWE that's looking to go elsewhere, just follow our shoes and see what happens.
Yeah,
absolutely. De Niro, take it away, my brother.
Man, this matchup was so good. So good. It had everything from the action to the drama with the injury, the psychology. Everything was so good about this matchup. I think it's probably, like, in my opinion, if it's not the match of the night, it's probably like my top 2 favorite matches of the night. This was just such a great matchup and such a great moment for FTR, who I think at this point really proved, like, without a shadow of doubt, like, all the haters gotta shut the fuck up, because, like, FTR at this moment is proving that they are the best tag team in wrestling. They are holding titles in Japan, Mexico, and the United States. Besides the UK, those are the 3 biggest markets in wrestling in the world. Okay, not just in whatever, it's in the world.
Oh, the world, Craig.
Now, I think that this was amazing. I know we all were going for FTR. We said it on our predictions that we all wanted FTR, and I think that is great. I think that's something that people are not talking about, right? Everyone wants to see what's going to happen with New Japan and FTR, but something that people are not talking about too much is the politics and the backstage bullshit between AAA and New Japan. Now, AAA and New Japan share the same tag team champions. So I wonder if this is a way of maybe opening the door for those 2 companies to work together. So next time we have a Forbidden Door type pay-per-view, we don't see the BS of this guy can't wrestle, that guy can't wrestle. Because imagine this show with Andrade, with Penta and Phoenix, with Roosh. Like, we couldn't see that because of all the backstage politics between New Japan and AAA. Now with FTR holding gold in AAA, with them holding gold in New Japan, I hope that this is a way that there's like a peace treaty, maybe, turning the leaf or turning the page, extending the olive branch. That's what I was trying to say. But like, hopefully, like, they could come together, because in this day and age, like, everyone has to come together, man. And, like, it makes no sense, like, your rivalry, like, and it's all stemming from the CMLL AAA rivalry. But before I get into that, right, that's a whole nother story. I really am happy that FTR is there, and like the possibilities are endless, man. Like, now going to the World Tag League, seeing them against GOD, seeing them, I just want to see them like go through everybody. Like, even if this title reign is for a short time, I definitely want to see them wrestle, like make the rounds, go against all the top tag teams in New Japan, because That's why, like, you would put the gold on FTR. FTR is the top tag team in the world. You bring them to New Japan to elevate your tag teams. Even if you have tag teams that are at that level, you have those dream matches then, like a GOD versus FTR. And at this point, I mean, shit, what's next for FTR? Impact, NWA, like
NWA. Give them the NWA.
NWA would be perfect for them, like that classic style, nostalgia style. Like that's what they made like their career off of. You know, what I mean, they're reminiscent of Arn and Tully, so that would be amazing to have them in NWA. But right now, I'm just gonna say this: like nobody could deny it. Like I know a lot of people still want to say Young Bucks. Some people say Briscoes. Some people say Usos. You can't deny it. The fucking FTR is the best tag team in the world, and they prove it by winning gold.
Where's your thoughts on that? On that Great O'Con Scott Hall imitation of taking the bumping up, and then falling out of the ring. That shit was funny.
I did like that.
I thought that was funny. Yeah, Great O'Con has that subtle comedy that we were talking about, like that subtle comedy that makes it work, and I like that about him.
I'm loving it, man. I'm glad he's growing, and he's growing within the crowd too, man. Yes. Great O'Con, I'm happy for him that he's getting his moment too, man. This for sure, man. Every statement you said, De Niro, damn, man, yes.
I love it.
And especially, are they better than the Usos? Yes, they are for me. I'm sorry. I don't know what people are going to get offended. I'm not here. This is my opinion. It's my opinion. I know people going to say,
yo, what the fuck?
Yes, I'm going to say it, okay? They're better than the Usos. They're the number one tag teams right now in professional wrestling. I'll put Usos as 2. But number 1 is FTR.
I don't even think the Usos at this moment is the best tag team in WWE, but that's just my opinion. So, I like the Usos, but I mean, shit, I'm a street pop.
I don't even think they're the best Samoan tag team. I still give it to Girls of Destiny.
Oh, yes, they are. Absolutely, they are. All right, now we get into the Fatal 4-Way for the All-Atlantic Championship. Yes, All-Atlantic, not Pacific, but Atlantic, okay? But yes, we have Malachi Black, Pac, the Bastard Pac, Miro, of course, and Clark Connors. And shout out to Connors, by the way, man. He did another performance that I'm happy he had his moment to shine.
Yeah.
And I was happy to see that
aggression.
Yes, I was happy to see that ruthless aggression out of him. I enjoyed the match. We did see a sneak peek of Pac and Miro, but not very much. I don't know if you guys noticed that. But then seeing Pac winning it at the end, I was so happy. You notice he wanted to smile. He smiled just a little bit, even though he was trying to, not break character. Come on, be happy. Like, you got your first title in AEW, man.
He's like, I gotta remember, I'm a bastard. I can't smile.
Yeah, I'm a bastard. I can't smile. I'm a bastard. But you just have to. What's going on, Dom?
Dom, what's good? Shout out to Dom.
And we're talking about it right now. We're talking about
we're
on it right now. The not Intercontinental Championship. The Oprah Winfrey title. You get a title. You get a title. We all get a title.
Real quick, everyone, check out today's episode of the Wrestling Delorean Podcast. Dom was on it. Great guest. Welcome to whenever. You know what I mean? That's the homie.
That is right. And make sure you subscribe to Top Rope Wrestling Talk.
Sure.
Make sure to subscribe. The number 1 greatest IG name of all time. PWI number 1. Exclusive award.
Award-winning.
Award-winning, of course. And the League of Extraordinary Podcast award-winning. Top_rope_wrestling_talk. Make sure you follow that. Because I can remember that. But don't forget the underscore. Absolutely. But all right, Dan, talk to me about it, brother. Your thoughts about this Fatal 4-Way.
There was a lot going on in this match. Of course, you got 4 guys, but they showcased a lot of Miro. I wasn't expecting them to give a big moments to Clark Connors like they did. I was wondering going in, what were they going to do with him? Of course, he took a lot of the big damage from Miro, and I'm like, damn, Miro's just messing him up. But like you see them put the table on the outside, and I'm like, what's going to happen with this table? And when I see Clark Connors kind of sneak up, and then he does the whole spear into it, I'm like, okay, he gets him back, and then he has his moment, and then he does his finisher inside the ring, and then he almost gets the 3 count, and people actually pop for it because a lot of people don't know who Clark Connors is going into the match, but he definitely showcased himself very well. A couple of the spots I like was, of course, to get Miro out of the match at the end. They had Malachi Black spit in his black mist in the face of Miro that kind of pushed him out of the match. You had Clark Connors get put into the finisher on the ground, but then you had Pac go up and does his was it the red arrow?
Black arrow.
Black arrow. Okay.
Oh no, it was the 450 this time. It wasn't the black arrow. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He jumped off the top, landed it perfectly on Malachi, so then he could do the submission to Clark Connors. I knew Clark Connors was going to be the guy to take the pin, but I'm really happy that they finally put a focus on Pac. You remember his debut? He debuted and got the victory over Kenny Omega at All Out. And then since then, he's kind of been hit or miss. Like, they put him in high-profile matches, and then he loses. But this is his first chance to be a champion, which I've said it in the past. This guy needs a title on him because he puts on great matches. And I thought they were going to do it on Miro because he had just come back. But I'm kind of glad that they put it on Pac now because they can go and run with him. And if they do it where he fights different guys from different promotions because it's all in, I guess it's their way of saying fighting people, international wrestlers, it could work because he can wrestle with anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's fucking go.
That's right. Let's fucking go, Liz. That's right.
Yeah.
Brother De Niro, the floor is yours, my brother.
Yeah, this matchup was great, man. Like, I feel like this pay-per-view was just banger after banger after banger, and that crowd was eating it all up. This was an awesome matchup. Me and Dom were talking about it on the show. Like, we weren't really too familiar with Clark Connors too much, and the thing is, Clark Connors is a guy who was the least experienced, right? You have years and years of experience with guys like Miro, especially Pac, but he did not look like he didn't belong. He made sure that he got his shit in, and he was, believable enough that it's like it didn't seem like I was even saying like it wasn't. Oh well, this could have been Ishii. I miss Ishii. No, Clark Connors came and he showed out. He did his thing, but like Dan said, it was just long overdue for Pac, and I'm so glad that he finally holds gold because he's been in this company since day one, since the fucking. If you remember when they first announced AEW, that press conference, the only guy in his full gear, right? Everyone else was dressed up. This man came out with his tights on and his fucking kick pads, but he's been here since day one. So for him to finally hold gold, it's a beautiful moment. I know we all wanted to see Miro win. Our predictions, we all said Miro. I said Miro or Pac. I wanted Pac to win if it wasn't going to be Miro. I mean, if it was Malachi Black, I wouldn't be mad either. But I'm just thinking like the possibilities, like Dan said, of Pac going to other companies, going around to maybe New Japan Strong and defending that title, going to maybe Rev Pro and defending that title. It's going to be awesome to see what he could do with this title.
I agree.
And then just like you said, the reason behind this is just the dojo way. They develop their wrestlers. They basically strip them to nothing, rebuild them, and then they see how the wrestler is, and then they kind of form like a identity after that. And with a guy like Clark Connors, he has a lot of built up intensity, and then that's why the nickname the Wild Rhino, because he builds it up and then it just comes at you. And then it just showcased in that match with the spear to Miro, a big guy like that, and he was able to put him through a table, and just like you said. It was able. I kind of felt like he kind of fit the match more than Ishii would have, because I don't know how they would have structured.
Ishii's a little bit more slower and
slower and stronger. I don't know how they would have developed the match and who would have taken the pin had Ishii been in it. But Clark did his job. He looked great, and then since he's graduated 6 months ago, he's looked great. A lot of people don't remember that he was in the New Japan dojo first, and then he came over here during the pandemic to be in the LA dojo. So he has a little bit of both flavors in him. So I think that helped him out a lot.
Most definitely. And also, I just want to say about Pac mixing up with Miro. We were talking about how it looked like when they did touch, Miro put a little extra stank on those shots, because there was even a point where he was just clubbing the shit out of Pac, and you could see in Pac's face, he was like, God damn, like you laying that shit in. But you know, like I said, there was a little bad blood, but I think that like with this matchup and especially like Miro with putting the game over on Pac, it showed that they probably like squashed whatever beef that they did have, which
I hope they did, and I hope this should be. I mean, that was your receipt. I mean, I guess Pac got his receipt from Miro, so I'm happy.
I'd say so. I'd say so.
And putting the submission on, and then him pulling him back, and then just kicking him in the back before he put it on again. Oh, that hurt me just watching it.
Yes, that's how I felt.
And I agree. Give me Pac versus Kota Ibushi any day. Take my money. I agree with that.
Give me what I want.
That's right. We have to, man. We have to.
To this day.
That's a new one.
Yes.
To this day, because that's to this day for Pac being in AEW, and he well deserved for this title. And I agree. I think maybe, I mean, we'll see down the line. Maybe this could be the specific reason of why they called it the All Atlantic. For that reason as well, for it to be promoted in other promotions like New Japan, like Red probably mentioned, it could be anywhere, as a matter of fact. But we'll have to wait down the line and see what's going to be next for Pac. I'm hoping I want to see Miro and Malachi now. And I think I want Miro to get his revenge. Like you son of a bitch, you sprayed on me, so I want to see that.
I like the interactions that they had against each other in this matchup too. It looked like they could go with something with them.
See, yep. Even Dom agree with you. Now you're right. These are 4 lightning fast Stone Pitbull's prods. Yes, sir. Absolutely. All right, and then we get into the other match right here: the Bullet Club, the Bucks of Youth, and El Fantasmo versus the dudes with attitude. Stang! It's Sting! Yeah, it's Sting!
Yeah.
And Shingo Takagi. Man, very brief, man. When Sting, Chris, I'm going to say what Chris said, because Chris said it on the episode. He is living the life of the indies right now. He's just jumping off of fucking buildings. I was like, I swear I did not expect him to do that. I did not expect Sting to jump off the stage. And
Son of a bitch.
Yes, that's how I was. But man, I'll tell you one thing. Oh, I think you're onto something. Yes, that will be great to see. Yes, Miro and Black.
Yes.
We'll see on tomorrow.
For sure.
On Dynamite, Blood and Guts for sure. But man, this match here, it was a great sell. It was entertaining. This one you can say it was entertaining. It was entertaining, and especially Sting not selling the double super kick. I was like, no way. I
liked how it was kind of delayed. He did this, he clotheslined, but then he sold it afterwards. Like it was like it didn't kick in until he did his move, which was perfect. Yeah. It was like just to get that one in on him. And being there live, when you saw all the lights go out, everybody just went crazy because at first they showed him up case, and then they showed him not appear. And everybody was like, "Where's Sting
I was
at?
so scared,
Where's
man.
Sting at? Where's he at? And where's he at?" I'm like, watch, he's gonna appear from above. Then they have the Young Bucks come out, which the one thing is, I wanted to watch Be the Elite to see if I caught anything. 2 things that I caught that they did yesterday was the fact that this match was redone 12 times. There was 12 different orders in place for this match. That's how many times the match got changed, was 12 times that they mentioned it. But I like the nostalgia of going back to the old gear. Like they showcased that too, how they were picking what gear to wear. They went back to the Bullet Club gear. They were showing like Ring of Honor, New Japan, and everything on there. Yeah. And then they even had the pants and everything. And then they made the comment, we hope we don't get a cease and desist by doing the Too Sweet. But it was cool how they came out. Once everybody saw the lights came out, they saw Sting up there. They saw the lights go back on. And then from where we sat, you could see the shadow in the background. And then he appears out of nowhere and then jumps off. Everybody went nuts. Everybody went nuts. And I thought the cool thing was just it worked out great. I liked how they showcased El Phantasmo and Jackson doing the rolls back and forth, and then do the back gauge because that's the thing that El Phantasmo has been doing a lot lately in New Japan. And it got the crowd going, those two moments. The crowd got into it once they did that. I liked Phantasmo doing the jump off the middle of the top rope, how he walked over and jumped off. I liked how they showcased Shingo Takagi a little bit, how he's a big power guy. And then, of course, when they got the win, I liked how they kind of teased it. I was like, is he going to initiate them into LIJ? And then it goes like this. And then all three of them do it at the end. I'm like that got me going right there. I'm like, because
that was halfway. It wasn't all the way up. I wish it was, but it was. But me being a big LIJ fan, that got me going. I know it wasn't full way, but at least he did it. I think that's his way of being like, okay, I can't induct you in, but you'll be an honorary member for the night.
I'll talk to Naito about you, Sting.
Yeah,
the kid's an up and comer. I'll talk to him.
Oh, what? That's what I thought too. When I didn't see Sting come out for a second, I'm like, no way! Please tell me it's Naito if he's taking over his place. What I thought for a minute they were gonna show Sting got beat up backstage, and then we see, I don't know, where we hear Naito's music play. I would have lost my fucking mind if that would have happened. It would have seen Naito coming out and taking Sting's place. But I mean, overall, the match for me was fantastic. It was very entertaining. Anyone got this top rope was cool. Cheap pop, and Sting, for being a grandpa, a hardcore grandpa icon. That's what he is. But he did it was a great entertaining match.
And then they even added Hikuleo in when he basically jumped on the top apron when Sting was doing the submission to get the ref distracted enough to stop it, and then he got hit by Sting. So they at least was able to showcase him a little bit, get him into the match, because
he was supposed to be a part of the match.
Because he was supposed to be part of it. Hiromu had to bear out due to health issues, but then Hiromu tweeted, "I'll be there for Forbidden Door 2." So
I hope so, man. I hope we'll lead. But all right, De Niro, take it away, my brother. Your thoughts overall?
Yeah, man. Like, Sting is the fucking man. Like, I usually take notes. I write down notes and I go like real in depth and detailed. So like when I'm talking about these matches, I'm like, oh, I like that spot. I like that spot. This whole match, all I could put in like fucking capital letters was Sting is the fucking man. Because, he 63 years old, right? We got one of the greatest tag teams of all time, the Young Bucks, in the ring. We have what's it called? ELP, who is about to be in the G1, got a lot of hype around him. We have a former IWGP champion in Shingo. We have a guy who's like one of the four pillars of AEW, Darby Allin. And then we have the guy who's been going strong since the 80s, Sting. And you would think that you would think that he'd be like the afterthought. You'd think that by this point he'd be just the guy who's there to get guys over. But not when you're wrestling at the pace that this man's wrestling at. Sting is the man. After I mentioned all that talent in the ring and the big names that are in this matchup, Sting in 2022 is the guy that we're talking about coming out of this matchup. He's the man. First of all, I was scared as shit when I saw him all the way up there. I was like, please don't have him fucking come down. It's like, yeah, come on, man. Like, we know that's going to be that could go bad quickly, right? But when it was just like a decoy and then we saw like the shadow and he did the dive from the tunnel area, man, the guy's crazy. Like, I always want to pop, but first I take a second to make sure he gets up first, then I pop. Because I'm like, I get so scared when he does these fucking high flying moves. The guy's been around since the 80s, and he's been nonstop since the 80s. He took that a couple years off when he injured his neck against Seth Rollins, and then a couple years in between coming to AEW. But he's been going nonstop before then, right? NWA, what's it called? Going right into WCW. Then right after that, goes right into TNA. He wrestled a couple matches in the Asylum. He was wrestling international World Wrestling All-Stars. So he was still active before he made his time full-time with TNA. Goes to WWE. Now he's in AEW, 63 years old, and the guy is doing more crazy shit than I ever seen him do before. This is not his style. Sting does not do dives off of fucking balconies. Like, this is not something he used to do. So for him to be doing this shit now at 63 and pulling it off and not getting hurt, Sting is the fucking man. He's the icon. And like, Dom said, that moniker was not something he came up with. He's not saying what's called, oh, call me the icon. That was given to him. You know what I mean? We called him the icon. That's even more respect to him when your peers and your fans say you're the icon. Sting is the man. I can't believe that he's still wrestling at that pace, going against like come on, the Young Bucks doing that double super kick. I saw people complaining that Sting no-sold it. Like, fuck that shit. Like, it's Sting. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody can no-sell it, it's Sting.
That's the perfect moment for him to no-sell. Because then he does this, he clothesline, and then he sells it. So it's like a delayed one where it kind of made him and them look good because they still connected on it. They do get clotheslined by him, but then he falls to the mat. So he didn't sell it. It's just how they did it was perfectly fine. And then I just loved how Darby was used as like the guy, not the punching bag, but he took a lot of those back gauges. He took a lot of damage in this match, and then he still was able to showcase himself. He got messed up by New Jack. They might as well play natural.
Oh God! Have Sting with the bandana and the Tupac shirt too.
Hey, I want to see that. I want to see Sting with the bandana Tupac. For sure. Hey, he is like your New Jack right now. Seriously,
for real.
The spirit of New Jack is in him. You know, God rest his soul. The New Jack. But man, Sting with that. Oh my God!
Can you imagine? I know it's never going to happen, but can you imagine watching a New Japan show and then all of a sudden seeing Sting come out?
That'd be crazy. I mean, he's been there. Like Sting, if you guys remember, Sting versus Muta was the shit back in the day. So I mean, Sting was a star in New Japan in the early '90s. Remember his matches with Rick Rude and shit in New Japan?
Forget the staple. Yes. Oh my God.
But the staple gun versus the bat.
All I can say, this match was
wonderful,
and it was wonderful, man. It was. Have kudos to Sting. He got his moment. I was really happy.
And then the one thing I want to get out is my favorite moment was the fact that they gave Shingo Takagi the end moment where he hit. Of course, I believe it's called Made in Japan, and then he got the pin, and then he got to hear his music before they kicked to Sting's music like a minute later. Yes. I thought that was a perfect ending because you give him his little bit of shine there where he gets the victory for them, and then they had the moment afterwards. So I was happy that they were able to do it that way.
Sure. And he did the super one. He didn't do his regular finisher, Shingo. He did the super one that he never really uses it as much, only when he's in really high danger. So this one I was like really in shock he used the major finishers. I was like, oh, awesome, all right.
You in the States. It's not often he's in the States now, so like that was cool to.
Oh man, he looked so happy. I mean, I was happy to see Shingo, and I'm happy that he got another person that got his moment in the States and being. You can see, honestly, seeing these New Japan stars feeling that the crowd voice that they miss to hear in Japan because they're still in progression of being loud and cheering on. They have to clap majority of the time. I guarantee you, they felt so humbled, like, yes, oh my God, I missed this, and pretty soon you guys will have it. I hope so, man, because man, they need to bring that crowd back into that moment with them. They need to. See, I was kind of hoping that they're gonna add Muta to replace the Time Bomb, but he's OG NWO. He got a legendary. Yes, we're gonna see it. I guarantee you, we're gonna see it. It's gonna happen. Muta already. I mean, well, now he goes by Keiji Muto, but he will for sure. He'll definitely say that one of his matches will be against Sting. It's gonna happen, and Tony Khan's gonna make it happen.
I'm gonna love that shit.
Oh man, hell yeah! All right, now we get into the women's AEW Women's World Championship. Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm. This is a great wrestling show. I would say from the beginning, it was just a test of them filling each other up. And of course, we did see the power hitting between all of both of these women. I know there were certain spots people were like, "Why is it Thunder?" It looked like Thunder was a little nervous in this match, but she really did. She looked really nervous. There was, I want to say, maybe a botch maybe here and there, but you could tell she was feeling the pressure because in a way, how Toni Storm, she took those hits too, and man, but this match overall was a test for Thunder, and I think, and for when they mentioned in the post media when they mentioned that she's going to Yoshi Tokyo Pro in September, I have a feeling she's gonna be dropping the belt. But the question is who? That's gonna be the question. But let's see, this match was a banger. Toni gonna kill. So yes, with that funky weapon. Yes,
Yo, it looks like she's giving girls concussions with that ass, man.
Oh
Like,
my
crazy.
god, man! Tell me about it.
I felt like this would have been the perfect time to give it to Toni Storm because they built her up. I said it before. The fact that they had her beat Britt Baker clean not once, but twice, it would have been the perfect time to do it because you had built her up easily with that. You could have put the belt on her, and you could have had another thing with her and Britt or her and Jamie Hayter, and that would have worked. Because I felt like just the whole time I loved Thunder Rosa, but that whole her being the champion has not been as great as the chase was. Like we say this all the time. Sometimes the title run is as great as the chase is, especially with Hangman. Hangman had one of the best chases, but then he even had good matches with the title run, but just something was off with it. And I felt that way with this. I didn't watch this match live because I had stuck down to the 100 section because we're in the 300 section up until this point, and we had already made this decision. Once this match happened, we were going to sneak down to the 100 section. So we did, and it was successful. So that's why we had great seats for the last half. But I did watch it on, of course, when I got home the next day, and I felt the same way as you. I felt like she seemed tentative. She felt unsure of herself. I liked at the end where they sold to not shaking hands. That was good. So you're going to see a little bit of an edge with Toni Storm now. Maybe they have a rematch, and maybe she somehow gets that. I don't think it's Britt. A lot of people think it's going to be Britt Baker. I don't think it's going to be her. I feel like they got to go elsewhere with it now. It's just a matter of what are they going to do with it now, and that's where it's going to lie now. I thought it would have been better to just put the belt on Toni here.
Yeah. It just, like I said, I mean, the way how I felt this match was, I get Devin when he said that it wasn't a build up. Yeah, of course, because there was a lot of things that, so it was so much condensed for the program for it to be like an actual build, you know. And yes, we do suffer the same thing, Tom.
Yeah.
Just, and I'm pretty sure, you know, and I'm pretty sure that Juice and her, you know,
We'll make movies.
they're making movies, I can tell you that right now.
And we're gonna talk about Juice in a second too.
Oh, that's right. But man, De Niro, your floor is yours, my brother.
I mean, I don't know. I actually really like this matchup. I thought that they meshed together really well, and I think that they left enough for me to want to see a rematch between them, maybe down the line with a little bit more of a build. I wasn't so mad at the build for this match, just because we saw with the build with her and Serena that Thunder Rosa is not the best on the mic, and on that build for her and Serena, I just wanted to see them wrestle. So we kind of did that for here instead of having like the promos and a reason why they must wrestle. Like, let's just put them in the ring and wrestle, which like do like the, you know, the basics, like, oh, you know, you're getting jumped. I come out to save you. I look at the belt. I want the title shot. So it's like, okay, let's get a title shot, whatever. Right. Which is fine for like Thunder Rosa, because you want to, until you can maybe get her a mouthpiece or until you work on those promos, you want to hide the fact that she's not too good with the mic. You know what I mean? So I wasn't mad at that. As for the matchup, I thought that they meshed really well. There was some spots where it looked like there was a little hesitation, but I don't think that was anything that hurt the matchup. And yeah, I think that maybe at the next pay-per-view, which is All Out, we have a rematch between these two, maybe with Toni Storm actually winning. But I was happy that Thunder Rosa was still the champion coming out of this, because I didn't want to see her title reign get cut short. So I think that Thunder Rosa is a great wrestler. She just, you know, maybe she needs a mouthpiece at the moment. You know, they have this whole partnership with her and Dustin Rhodes. I think it was cool that Thunder Rosa won with Dustin Rhodes' finishing move to, like, you know, remind us that they are, you know, allies. Maybe have Dustin Rhodes be her mouthpiece, like better than he was during the Serena, because he wasn't much of a mouthpiece. He wasn't saying shit for her, which was like, come on, man. Mm-hmm. But like, give her a mouthpiece, because like in ring, there's nothing wrong with her in ring. Like, Thunder Rosa is a great fucking champion.
She is, but like, well, you know, what Dom put in there in the comments, I figured the outcome might have give us insight of how, you know, the Valor reports about, you know, about Thunder. She's sandbagging. She's not really, you know, giving the other individual, you know, their credit in the ring and giving them their spotlights, or selling too much for them too, and not really like. I don't think it's the case, though.
Yeah, if that was the case, she wouldn't be champion. Because
I
you
agree.
had the opportunity to take the title off her if she was sandbagging or taking liberties with people. I don't think that shit flies in AEW, and I don't think that she would be champion. So I think that, like Dom said, like it's probably not valid if we see her still win, you know?
Exactly. Because like you said, the Tony Khan would have just taken her to take the belt away from her and drop it to Tony. I mean, that would have happened. But she, she's feeling the pressure right now. I think for me, how I feel with her is her issue. She's overwhelming herself. She needs to slow your roll. I know you have Mission Pro, you have other commitments, but you are representing the company. So it's something that find a way to time manage that, and especially in the ring with other performers, like try to learn a little bit more, do more little insight with that, and how to deliver. Because honestly, it felt flat towards the end because people were like, "That was it." People were expecting more. I don't know if you guys felt it that way, like towards the ending. Like I felt like it needed a little bit more. It was close calls towards the middle of it, but however, towards the end, that when she did the Dustin move, it just didn't. People were just like, "What?" I mean, that was it. It was over that quick. I thought it was going to be more than that, honestly, but I guess they were not given the most time. I mean, that's just how I feel. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. So,
no, I agree.
I feel like this played with so much action. You knew that every match on this show, there was like no filler, right?
Yeah.
So like every match on the show was going to get the crowd behind them. It was going to be a lot of action. I think that they needed a match like this to kind of even though it was still a good match, it wasn't like the WWE where they put like a shitty match before the main event because they need to keep the crowd awake. You had this type of matchup to play like that buffer in between this and the next matchup. Because that you're going to have a lot of big moments towards the end of the show. You want that crowd to still be alive. So I don't think that they necessarily were going to set out to go 100% anyway. I think that this was a good way to start a feud that develops and then leads to another match at All Out. So yeah, I just feel like if they would have went 100% balls to the wall, it would have been like, all right, maybe by the main event or by the co-main event, the crowd would have been tired.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, but I agree with Dom when he says, yes, whoever needs to help her develop her more. And that should be William Regal, damn it. He should be doing that. William Regal is an expert on that. He should be helping developing these women on their mic skills.
100%. Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we move on, gentlemen?
No.
All right.
I mean, it played its part. Played its part. Yeah.
All right. And then now we move on to the IWGP US Championship. Woo! Will Ospreay and, of course, Orange Cassidy. OMG.
I love it.
Yes, we all loved it. And this match, oh, man.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, and it did. I think we said it last week. This match was going to be some type of a show stealer or some type of excitement. But before we actually get into the match, we did see Juice Robinson backstage with, of course, Jay White. He still has the IWGP US belt. He still has it. And it's going to happen. It's at Wrestle Kingdom. It's going to happen. And he's going to get his rematch with Will Ospreay. Someone needs to get involved. I think they're going to do a three-way dance at Wrestle Kingdom somehow.
It was actually funny because they didn't show that at all in the arena.
No,
but apparently he was in a box.
Yeah,
showcasing the title, talking to the crowd. But we moved when me and Nick moved down to the 100 section. You didn't see any of that, and I was wondering. I was like, I wonder if Juice is here. And then people told us afterwards they were like, Juice was there. I was like, where? And I had to watch it on Twitter or something. I'm like, damn, how did I miss that? I wish they would have showcased it and whatnot, because that would have been a lot better. Because to me, this match, I might be over exaggerating, match of the year right now. That's what I think of this match. It was that good because of the pacing from start to beginning. And even at the end, we'll get into that in a second about that surprise appearance that everybody popped for. Like that they could have ended the night like that, and I would have been fine with how that surprise was. But these guys just had chemistry. Like we said it with the with Swerve and Desperado. These guys just showed off. In the beginning, of course, you had Orange Cassidy put his hands in the pocket, and he kept them in his pocket for the first couple minutes doing moves, going back and forth, showcasing his style. And then he was even just doing the things where he just walked and he stopped, and Ospreay overshot him because of it. And I thought that went well. He got a spot on the top where Ospreay put, of course, Orange Cassidy on the face upside down. He went to kick him, but Ospreay moved. And then you had that sequence, which everybody's talking about, how Orange Cassidy was on the ground. You do the moonsault. Of course, he misses. He overshoots it. But then he does the backdrop, kind of like what Andrade does. And then he hits the backdrop on Orange Cassidy. And then he goes up to do it off the topper again. And then that's where Orange Cassidy hits him in the knees and then gets the 2-count pin. I just thought that everything seemed fluid. I liked how he kicked out of the hidden blade. Everybody went nuts when he kicked out of that at 2.5. And
that don't happen like that, yeah.
No, no one kicks out of that. And then he had to finish him with the Stormbreaker.
Yeah,
which lately he's been doing the Stormbreaker, and then he as the lead up to the hidden blade.
That's right.
He had to do the opposite in this one, and everybody went nuts. And then, of course, he gets the 3 count. Of course, they come in and they're like, F this. And then he brings in Ozzy Open, and they're getting ready to do something else. Then, of course, Roppongi Vice comes in for the save. Then they get beat down, and then everybody went nuts when Shibata came out. He came out and just went to town on all 3 members. And then he knocked out Will Ospreay, which was even the icing on it. And then it's like, I just loved it. Like, seeing him, I didn't expect him to even show up.
I love it.
Backstage, but I didn't expect him to have like a role at the end of the match.
Nah, yeah, for sure.
Shout out to Brian Cook for welcome to the show, Underground Temple as well. Shout out to him, my brother. He was there live too in the audience as well. And shout out to Off the Top Ropes podcast.
You said he was live. You said
he was there live. He was there live.
Yeah, that's cool because of course I was there live, and he actually followed me the other day. I talked to him a little bit, which was cool. So shout out to him for subscribing to my channel and have a little bit of back and forth talk with him. But that's very cool that he went as well.
Oh, yes. I even saw the sign, man. I was trying to look for the picture. If Shibata shows up, I'm gonna cry. And there was a sign that said, I was like, oh man. I can tell you that Matt, when he was here watching it with me, oh man, he lost his mind. Yeah, he was Ned Flanders all night. He cried. He almost cried. Oh, of course. Okay, I got you, Dom. I got you, Dom. I'll hit it for you. Yes, here we go. Yes, that is right. I think we were all flattered out because it was like, wow, Shibata's there. Like, I just did not expect Shibata to show up.
Yeah, it's a rare appearance because he hasn't made an appearance since Wrestle Kingdom when he did the thing with Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes, that was the last time. And man, see, he's still in great shape. The man, and then top it off, him wearing the sunglasses, trying to do the thumb. Like,
that was key. That was key there. And he was so serious, and you see Orange Cassidy go. It was just, and then to add more to it, you see Trent look at him. He's going, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And he's just like,
"That's right."
I thought that was just great.
Oh man, oh my God, maybe we're gonna see Shibata get involved in this U.S. title. Maybe he's the third one. I'm scared for him though because we already know with that trauma, he can't take a full force. I'm so scared. I don't want him. I don't know because I hope not. I'm speechless because it's hard for me. We're humans. We don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough.
What do you say in this match? And of course, this was good for Ospreay to win. But you can kind of say that it worked well in Orange Cassidy's favor, where even in a loss, he might have profited more out of this than Ospreay, because Ospreay has already built. He's even built in the States already. But Orange Cassidy is a character that everyone likes, but they wanted to see like that full, complete showing of him, and this is what it was, from like a full output of a big audience. And just like we said, this match showcased out. To me, it was match of the year, and he had everything in this match. I think this took him from just a fan favorite to maybe a star. I think he turned into a star in this match, even losing.
No, yeah, I feel like it's a testament to wrestlers when you could look good in defeat, because, you know, we know it's all predetermined, right? Like wins and losses. This is not MMA. Like wins and losses aren't the most important thing. So when you look good in defeat, like you're doing your job perfectly. Like, and I feel like, gosh, Orange Cassidy, he raised a lot of eyebrows. I'm sure a lot of people who still aren't giving this guy a chance went into this matchup was like, yo, why of all people is Ospreay going against Orange Cassidy? Why is this not a dream match? You have Will Ospreay. Why not put him against this guy or that guy or this guy or that guy? But they put him against Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy proved that he belonged in that spot because the chemistry was there, like you said, Dan. The matchup was phenomenal. Like they went like tit for tat, every single thing. Like Orange Cassidy was able to hang. Like as much as people want to shit on him, he was able to hang. I talked about this last week. He has his comedy spots, right? But if they wanted to have a comedy match, you could have just put Orange Cassidy versus Tariano. Orange Cassidy's a wrestler who, when he turns up, and he shows like he has that killer instinct. He has that different like switch where once he puts that switch on, like he could go. So I was really happy that like early on in this matchup, we saw that serious Orange Cassidy and we got a really good, phenomenal matchup. As for the ending with Shibata, like that was such a great fucking moment. Especially like, you know, you guys were saying like Shibata is such a serious wrestler. For him to, well, first of all, before even getting to that part, having Shibata there is rare. It's a fucking rare appearance from Shibata. But we all know Shibata is probably like one of the most serious wrestlers. No nonsense, very nonchalant gear, not flashy. You know, he just goes in there with his black gear and he just like fucks you up and leaves, right?
Yeah.
So Shibata Shibata putting on the Orange Cassidy glasses was probably more personality out of Shibata than I ever seen. So I thought that was a really cool moment because like, you know, we don't necessarily see that side of him, and that was cool that we got to see that side of him on this. But this whole show, this whole matchup, it was definitely like, I don't know, like you said, it was for sure my match of the night. But like, damn, now thinking about it, it could very well be a candidate for match of the year. These guys like blew the roof off the place.
This was pretty much like this is the old Fire Ant of Orange Cassidy versus this version of Ospreay. And in like how Underground Temple mentioned in the comment, it did shut people up. And I'm glad it did, you know. I'm glad it happened. And you spoke about Toriano. Guess what? He was there. He was in attendance.
Shit.
He was right there.
Yeah. I was wondering where he was because it was announced on Twitter that he was going to be in Chicago. I think he did like an event where he actually streamed on YouTube that day, and me and a couple of buddies were like, "Where's he at? Where's he at? Is he going to do anything? What is he going to do?" Because I was looking, but we never saw him, and I didn't even see him in the crowd. I guess probably because of the mask, of course.
I wonder if he had DVDs with him in the crowd.
Yeah. Oh, but Brian just said right now, yes, I think we all want that to happen, man.
Yeah, man, that would be
all those matches.
Give me what I want.
Yes,
but to have the one moment that was crazy that I laughed in was when, of course, Orange Cassidy was getting stretched out from behind by Ospreay, and then Ospreay goes into the pocket and pulls out his middle finger at the crowd. Everybody popped for that.
Oh yeah,
it was very yeah. Everybody popped out for it. It just worked out. Just the little nuances in the match that they added to it. It was just very creative. And then, of course, you had to have Ozzy Open in there to get involved to kind of slow down Orange Cassidy at a couple points in the match.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, definitely. It was good to see Shibata, man. Especially, I never thought he'll be doing this. Like, really, you wearing the sunglasses. Oh, Shibata. I mean, yes, Tom, I'm with you. Yeah, for Cassidy's Ospreay, the winner of all tag team triple threat match. as match of the year. Yes. Oh man.
Yeah.
And, Shibata, of course. That's all we want. I think we could get a shoot match between Danielson and Shibata, like how Zack Zombie and Shibata did at last week Wrestle Kingdom. We could see that happen. I believe so. So
Yeah.
man, I was so happy to see Shibata. Oh man, it just I had a tear in my eye. Well, more Matt. Matt is the one that cried more. He's the one that pretty much had more tear in the eye than all of us. But just Clardy. Oh, we'll get there right now. So
Jumping the gun there.
Don't jump ahead.
Jump ahead. We're getting there. But any final thoughts before we move on?
I think that, like, after watching this matchup, that's what gave me the better understanding of why Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm went the way they went. Because you had such a crazy matchup before that with the Sting and the Young Bucks and Shingo. And then you have this matchup, which got a good amount of time, but the crowd was really into this, like, intensely. Like, the crowd was, like, popping for everything. So I feel like that's why the way the women's matchup went, you needed that little calm down for the crowd so they could have this matchup to really, like, go insane for.
And if the crowd wasn't into the pay-per-view up until then, they definitely were into this match.
Right.
Everybody popped through every pin whenever Orange Cassidy almost got one, and then just like I said for the Hidden Blade, the crowd erupted when he broke out of that. Like everybody, you could hear the "Oh my God!" Getting out of it. And then how crazy is it that this was a happy accident of a match, because it was supposed to be Will Ospreay going up against Andrade El Idolo, but because of the whole like politics thing, they had to change it to Orange Cassidy. So we might have never had this match, but how lucky we are that we got it.
Yeah,
Absolutely, I agree, and I'm glad that now people could literally not see Orange as a non-joke of a wrestler.
Yeah.
This match proved that he could go. And if you're not familiar, like Dan Dinner and myself have said, go back to Shikara. Look at at Fire Ants back in the day. Look at Orange Cassidy's prior matches before he became relevant in national television. This man is underrated. He could go.
At this point, at this point, if you think he's just a joke, then that's just pure ignorance, because you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Exactly. All right, now we move on into Zack Sabre Jr. versus who? Who could it be? Who?
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt. Everybody was just like,
Let's fucking go.
Yes. Everybody was that way.
Hulk Hogan. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Former IWGP champion.
This is Ric Flair's last match now.
Yeah, right. This was the last match.
I know a lot of people were like,
No, God.
no, yes, no. It wasn't happening.
God, okay, it's happening.
And it did happen, ladies and gentlemen. You know why? Because I'm going to show you why. And that is Claudio Castagnoli is all elite, as he was the mystery opponent for Zack Sabre Jr. And man, yes. Yes. Oh, I appreciate you, Tom. Yes.
And before we go into this, what's crazy is they announced it afterwards. He wasn't even signed going into this match. They signed him afterwards on, I believe, right after the media scrum, that they had like something in place that they were getting ready to finalize everything, but it wasn't finalized until after the event happened. So that was
I thought they said that Claudio was actually signed beforehand. They just were waiting for the right moment to bring him in.
No, they actually had, like, when they did like the reveal, they had his picture, but they didn't have he's all elite until like the next day, which was because all like the details of the contract wasn't figured out yet. He said Chris here needs to be here. He was at Warrior Wrestling earlier that day. I got to meet him there because I did that event, and then we went straight across the street to United Center. So I did get to see him there, which was cool. He's kind of big now. Well, he always is big, but he's gotten a little bit bigger than that. But it's cool to see Claudio sign there, and then of course we'll get into it afterwards. Some of the realism to like playing stuff about shooting, or is it a shoot or is it a work with the whole Eddie Kingston thing. We'll get into that at the end of the show, but these guys went out. Like I liked how every time what's his name, Claudio went to gain momentum, Zack Sabre Jr. was there to cut him off with a submission or lock something into him. He must have did 8 different like counters into submissions into this match. This is why he's the submission king here, and why he's a technician there. He was able to do 2 different things on the ropes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He went out. He's very cocky.
Yeah.
This just went out, and then the right guy won, because you don't need him to win, but he dictated the pace and the movement of the match to allow Claudio to have his big moments. And I don't want to waste too much time. It was just glad to see Claudio, and glad to see that they were able to have Zack Sabre Jr. have a big dictation on how the match went pace-wise.
Yes, I'm with you, Devin. Don't worry. That's what we give our opinions. But yes, we don't follow those Seltzers and Alvarez and
or the dirt sheets are dirty.
Yes. Because all I know is that they want us to listen to them, and then they want us to
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Nobody understands what the words come out of your mouth, Seltzer, especially you and Alvarez, piece of shit. But yes, De Niro, my brother, Claudio, it's all elite.
Man, I was so happy to see Claudio, and I'm happy to see him back with that name, because I was a big fan of him in Ring of Honor and CZW, Chikara, all that, right? So definitely dope to see. I agree, though. Definitely dope to see Claudio in AEW. I was scared, though. I thought that, I'm a big Zack Sabre Jr. fan, too. I was scared when he jump-started the match at the European uppercut and then the neutralizer. I was like, shit, are they going to give him like that quick 1, 2, 3 like that? Like, that would have been bad if you, Becky Lynch the shit. Like, it was like, I don't know, because anybody else in that position against Claudio, it could have worked. But bringing in Zack Sabre Jr. for this matchup, and Bryan Danielson saying that we're about to see the best technical wrestling matchup of all time, like, to end it like that would have been like, God, really? But really cool to see Claudio. The man is just a fucking monster. When he had Zack Sabre Jr. on the outside on the arm, walked him up the steps, and then tossed him into the ring, like,
yes,
he's so deceptively strong. Like, he looks very like he's like very ripped. He's very, I don't know, like lean, but then like you could just see, like, just by like the feats of strength that he has, like, he's extremely strong. Great to see Claudio, though. I'm really happy to see that it wasn't just like a guy coming in for a one-off. He's here to stay. We're going to see him on Wednesday in Blood and Guts. We'll talk about the whole show with Eddie Kingston, but definitely Claudio has been, one of those guys who has been so underappreciated, especially when he was in the WWE. So underappreciated. Could have been a multi-time world champion. He's a world champion caliber wrestler. I would love to see him reunite with Chris Hero. Like,
yes,
I was a huge Kings of Wrestling fan. Kings of Wrestling fan.
PWG, World Tag Champions.
And fuck, I wish Sarah Del Rey was going to be with them too. But shit, like, I remember, even down to the theme song, that K-O-W Kings. Like, man, Kings of Wrestling, that whole package was fire. But yeah, if Chris Hero came back to wrestling, I don't even care like how big he got. I'm sure he could still go. Because even when Chris Hero was big, he was still pulling out a bunch of shit. So definitely Kings of Wrestling, bring them together.
Underground, what section were you in at the event? Because I'm interested to see if you were near me. But one other point I wanted to mention was the fact that how they sold how hurt Claudio was from taking all of those submission attempts early on, because he wanted to do the swing.
Yeah, he's going to do like 5 times.
He only did it 5 times because he had to drop it. And it was a great notion to sell the fact that all those submissions were hurting his arms, because Zack Sabre Jr. was attacking certain areas of the body because he knew what type of wrestler he was. It made the match like realistic, not just I'm going to do this and then he's
smart game planning.
he's still going to spin him 20 times. No, the fact that he only did it 5 times made it even better because it sold the fact that he was hurt.
Yes.
The hero was killing UK and was quite fluffy.
Oh, hell yeah, man. He was quite fluffy, but hey, he could still move like he was a PWG era. I can tell you that. And I can tell you that Tony Khan, you talk about that when, Claudio said, I feel like I'm in a candy store. No, Tony Khan did. Yeah. Look at that. Come on.
Yo, those Tony hugs, man.
Those Tony hugs. I don't even get hugs from my wife that way. What the fuck, man?
Do you have the picture of him hugging Okada from the side?
Because right now,
the face that Okada had was like, "What's going on here? Why is he touching me?"
Fightful. Yeah, I saw Sean and he gave me a dirty. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Sean rests up another one. But oh my god. But yes, I could say that finally we get to see Claudio. He's gonna show the world and why did Vince McMahon missed out on letting this guy go. Why? Because you stupid ass stooges. Oh yeah, future best looking endeavors. Yeah, because of that idiot, that moron who's running your head of talent relations. And I hope that you learn your lesson. You need to learn your lesson from these horrible decisions of letting these incredible talents, especially Claudio, who got his moment, who had his moment in WWE, who should have been a world champion, a former 2-time at least, but no, he decided not to pull the trigger because you don't like Cesaro.
He was too busy with the paralegals.
He's too busy with it. Yes, he's a fan and he's a mark, but I love him. The fact that
that's his charm.
I gotta give to TK the credit. He got the money. And if he got the money, then he can bring them.
Right. Let's fucking go.
That's right.
Man,
that is
those hugs don't come for free. You know what I mean?
No.
To this day.
That's right. To this day, those hugs don't come for free. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Television is not good. Oh yeah, of course. That's why he is a fool who will be out of a stool and for being a fool.
Yep.
Because he will be out of a job, unfortunately.
Yep.
That's right. But now we get into one of the co-main events, and that is for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. We have, of course, the Switchblade defending the Heavyweight Championship, Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page, Kazuchika Okada, and Adam Cole, baby. And that is right. So let's see. Cesaro's booking will be better than Claudio in AEW. Yeah, I want this. What? Wait a minute. Okay, Kings of Wrestling. Yes, I agree. Looks like Devin wants to smoke now. So Cesaro's booking won't be better than Claudio in AEW.
Well, he didn't really have any good booking in WWE other than winning the Battle Royale, and then they just there was a lot of times where he just didn't wrestle a lot, and he did.
What the hell did you just say?
That's right, Devin. What the hell did you just say? Really? You're saying that okay. That's a bold statement, though.
And then he was good in the bar when they put him together. I feel like people will knock him down because of his promo skills, when I feel like he never really had the chance to. I'm still going to remain even keel about this to see how they do it. I think if they're going to do it the way I think they're going to do it, I think they're going to kick him out really strong. We'll get into that later. But I feel like it's easy to say, even if he was a mid-carder here, he'll still be better than he was in WWE because he'll be focused every week.
Yeah, I mean, do you have a statement for that, De Niro? What Clark Street said?
I mean, it just, it remains to be seen on what's going to happen, because I do see a lot of the times, I get excited when somebody comes to AEW. I'm like, yo, finally, they're going to get a lot of focus, and then we don't see them for a couple weeks because the roster's extremely stacked. So, I mean, I think for sure Claudio's going to get a lot of shine. Claudio was shown twice on the show. It wasn't just the debut in the match. He was also there at the end. I think they were really showing that Claudio is going to be a big deal. And also, we see the Blackpool Combat Club every week. That's an every week thing. And now he's a part of the Blackpool Combat Club. So he's going to get showcased a lot. And I feel like as long as you're showcasing him, as long as you let him do what he does best, then Claudio's going to, work his way to the top. Cream rises to the top, and he's an elite wrestler. No pun intended.
Absolutely, he is. I think him being added as an addition, I get it. Even how Dom said he is. Let's see, WWE had their own card. Now it favored Archer.
Giovanni Vinci.
Giovanni Vinci caught his greatest match in WWE was retiring William Regal, but that was an NXT. He neutered on yes. I know. Look, Claudio had a great run as the bar, and when he was given the run with Paul Heyman, but Vince did not pull the trigger. That's where I'm pissed.
I thought they were going to when he beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and he was white hot with the new entrance music, the new everything, and then they killed it in a month when they had him lose the Roman, and then he was off TV for 6 months.
That's what I'm saying.
Start, stop. Yeah. That's the WWE's MO.
Yeah. No, right. You're right. I'm not saying you're wrong, Devin, but that's what we're talking about. Ever since that clean win, they didn't pull the trigger. It just they slipped on it.
It should have been him and Roman right off the bat, right after WrestleMania.
Yes, it should have been. Yes, the coin. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I know we're going a little off sidetrack, but it's debatable that one. We have to wait to see how Claudio gets booked. Yeah. We have to wait to see how they do it, But there is one thing I do want to see before we get into the co-main event. This picture got me intrigued because they added this female, and I would not be mad if they add her to the club.
Wow.
Jamie Hayter. I would not be mad. It's just Serena Deeb or her. I don't fuck it. Add her to it.
I think Deeb would probably fit more, but I wouldn't be mad. I think that would be great for Jamie Hayter because she's such a good wrestler and she shouldn't be just in Britt Baker's shadow, even though I think that's coming to an end soon.
Yeah. I don't disagree on that. I mean, the problem is the condensing the time. I'm not disagreeing that they don't. Of course, you're gonna have similar booking style, but we don't know how they're gonna do it. I can't answer that until we see what happens after Blood and Guts. That's what I want to see. Even Mania was them teasing. Yes, Dom. Yes. Yes, but either one works, right? Either Hayter or Deeb. I would not mind to add a female to that club. The
whole Blackpool Combat Club. Every member has a tie with William Regal. So I wonder, does Jamie Hayter have a tie with William Regal? Because I know for sure Serena Deeb does, because Serena Deeb and William Regal were helping train wrestlers in the Performance Center. So it would be interesting to see Deeb in that,
Imagine if they added Marina Shafir, where she has that MMA style, and then she's very technical with the grapple, and you can have her get built over by working with William Regal, and then he can help her out as a mouthpiece as well.
And she had to tie with Regal as well, being in NXT.
Yeah.
Well, even Brian agrees. Absolutely, man.
Yep.
Man, for sure. We'll see. We'll see down the line. But go ahead, take it away, Dan. Here's the co-main event. Take it away, my brother. I
got so popped when I saw Okada come out for this match. It was just finally get to see this guy live and in person. And this could be one of the only chances to ever see him live. That the match was even done for me right there with that. But I loved how the different notions of the match. Of course, you had working together with Adam Cole and Jay White in the beginning, where they both bailed out of the ring at the same time, basically versus Jay White, and then Adam Cole did. So you get Hangman and Okada in the ring. They shake hands, then they get hit from behind by Cole and Jay White. So for the first quarter of the match, it was Jay White and Adam Cole just doing a 2-on-1 on Okada and Heyman. But then you see towards the match going a little bit more. I liked how they made Adam Cole turn on Jay White instead of Jay White turning on Adam Cole. I thought that was great. They showcased everybody well in this match. I felt bad though for Adam Cole because He did get concussed during the end of the match, and when he took the drop kick from Okada, you could see him just hit his head, and then kind of like he comes up. Apparently, what was supposed to happen was he was supposed to take that last finishing clothesline by Okada, and then I think Okada was supposed to take the finisher from Jay White, but Adam Cole ducked, took the finisher from him, and then Okada got hit, and then that's why they pinned Adam Cole, because he was supposed to take the pin all along. And that's why a lot of people got mad. Like first, a lot of people got mad at the ref because he called 3, and it was kind of awkward. But then when everything started to come out, you're like, okay, that's why. It was the finish. They didn't want to do anything more to Cole. Because other than that, the match was really great. It was a lot of back and forth. I got really happy when I saw Gato rock out with Jay White, because I didn't think that he was going to be there. But then I had an idea maybe he would. But then he came out. That was a nice addition to the match, and he even got involved a little bit. It just sucks that one thing kind of ruined like the end of the match, because that match got me hyped up until that point. And then I think what they did perfect was Hangman had no part in the ending of the match.
Very true.
So he was able to keep momentum that he got in the match, but then he didn't get pinned at all because you knew he wasn't going to win. So having him be outside the ring and kind of like you kind of see him go to try and get inside, but he knew that he was going to make it. So he still kept that momentum going. So it looks like maybe he's going to have a say in the world title maybe in the future. But I enjoyed the match. Like getting to see Okada was the treat there, and then they did this match well, except for the injury at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I the good thing is that how Devin did mention, that Jay he did, and if you notice that he did protect him a lot during the whole match.
He said something to the ref right after it happened.
Yeah, because he even asked him. Yeah, definitely. I mean. But TK, man, TK got what he wanted. Especially the hug of the night right there too.
Like I said, Okada's like, why is he doing this?
Why is he hugging me? Like,
and then fun fact, Okada pulled a rib on, I believe it was Matt Jackson.
He did.
Showed up to Dynamite on Wednesday because I didn't know this, but apparently he's the reason that the Young Bucks got to New Japan. It was him.
They were friends from Impact when
they're very good friends. They haven't seen him in a couple of years. Apparently, they were doing a vignette, of course, for Dynamite. They were right from their locker room for 10 minutes. He gets there, asks Rocky Romero where the Young Bucks locker room is. He goes in there and puts on Matt Jackson's like pants for his gear, and then he goes up the mat and he goes, Matt, I'm in your room. What happened to your gear? He said, what are you talking about? He was like, I don't see it. And then he pulls his pants off, and then you see the picture of him wearing Matt Jackson's attire. And apparently he does that to the Young Bucks all the time, where he ribs them. And it's funny to see that comedy style of Okada, because he's very serious. He's a top star, but then he knows how to have that fun side to him when he's not wrestling.
Yeah, there was even a video, I believe it was a part of Being the Elite, like right before All In. And I believe like they saw the Young Bucks kids playing with Okada like in the ring and shit. Like they go way back. But yeah, this matchup was amazing. Amazing. First of all, right, I was at the Grand Slam, AEW Grand Slam in New York last year. And we had Bryan Danielson versus Omega, but before the match started, when the bell rang, the crowd just rose to their feet and was going crazy. Holy shit, chance! This is awesome. They didn't even touch yet, right? I didn't see that since. I haven't seen that before that. I haven't seen that since until this night, because when all four men were in the ring and the bell rang, that crowd just erupted and went wild. And I thought that really set the stage for this matchup. This was a phenomenal matchup. Everybody got their shine. Adam Cole with the super kick on Hangman mid moonsault was fucking insane because he got it on the money too. You know how hard that is?
It was
right on the money.
Like watching it right there, so close. He hit it like boom,
right on the chin.
They were like, "That's how you do it." Adam Cole hit him right there, and then Hangman had the right trajectory to make it look even better. And
that
then
was a brutal spot.
Piggyback off of the crowd. Okada got the hugest pop that whole night. He comes walking to the ring. Everybody goes, Okada, Okada. It was so loud. And he deserves it because from the States. Because a lot of people watch him on the app. And, of course, he's in Japan. And I bet you Okada felt so happy that he could hear a chant. Because they haven't heard that in a while in Japan. And for him to get that big pop, I bet you it got him so excited before the match.
For sure, especially that crowd going crazy like as the bell rang. But yeah, Okada, like Dom said, Okada got the CM Punk pop in Chicago for his return. And that's insane because everyone knew Okada was going to be there. CM Punk was a surprise. So like for him to still get that pop, like that holy shit, he's here pop, that's a testament to the star power of Okada. Great matchup. As for the ending, now it came out that Adam Cole was concussed. We were trying to figure out like what exactly happened. Yeah. But I'm really happy that Jay White took that extra mile to like hold Adam Cole down because it looked like Adam Cole was trying to kick out at 2. He held his shoulder down and then quickly went to the referee, told him what was going on. And that was a real professional thing to do. I was getting like sick to my stomach when I was seeing some of the fans talking shit like, they should have just rolled out Adam Cole. First of all, he was concussed. Who knows what happened? Like he landed pretty nasty on that move that Okada did where he had him up like the pile driver and then dropped him, right?
Yes.
Who's to say that wasn't a neck injury first, right? So if you roll a man now and he has a neck injury or if he has what's called a concussion and he hits his head on the fucking mat on the way down, like this could be a whole lot more damaging than what happened.
I think it got triggered because the drop kick by Okada, which he usually does it great. He did it a little bit too high, where it hit him like right here instead of right here.
Because Adam Cole's more of a smaller wrestler, and Okada gets pretty high with that drop kick, so he got him right in the money.
Yeah, and that's what happened, and that's why, because he ducked by accident the clothesline, that's what messed everything up. Like if he would have hit him, he wouldn't even been taking place other than a pin. That's why the whole confusion of when Jay White did the finisher, he kind of crawled over to pin Adam Cole because that's what originally was supposed to happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's just like at the end of the day, fuck a 5-star match when someone is hurt. Like these are human beings. Why like roll them out and continue the matchup? The matchup already went like 21 minutes. Like it didn't need to like go extra time. Like I just feel like that was a little disgusting by some of the wrestling fans saying, just roll them out and continue the matchup. I'm glad that, Excalibur did say that Adam Cole like walked out on his own accord, which was good. And, he's just been dealt a tough hand because like he was already injured with his shoulder. Now he has the concussion. But if anything, I hope, Adam Cole gets better soon, speedy recovery, because
I wonder if we could, you kind of saw maybe like a rivalry, not a rivalry, but a future match afterwards, because you see the Young Bucks and Kyle O'Reilly come out after to check on him, and then you see Adam Hangman Page come in, and they're kind of friends with him. You don't know what's there. Yeah. They go to look at him, and you could kind of see Kyle O'Reilly go, "But get Adam Page."
Yeah.
So maybe that's a matchup we might see in the next couple of weeks: Hangman Page versus Kyle O'Reilly, because Kyle O'Reilly can work with anybody. So
I think Kyle O'Reilly's also injured though right now. He's going to be taking some time off. Tony Khan announced that Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are injured, but Bobby Fish is expected back sooner.
Yeah.
So
I think it's like a kind of cool like precursor to something down the line that they kind of did a teaser for.
Yeah, no, for sure. And even when the Young Bucks were coming out and Jay White was walking past them, like they put the camera like towards Jay White's like the back of his head, but you could kind of like faintly hear, like I had it pretty loud, you could faintly hear he said, "Go check him." Like he was letting the Young Bucks know like something's not right, like he's hurt. Yeah. So like definitely Jay White is a professional and he did the right thing,
Yeah.
No, but he did.
Overall, good matchup.
No, he did. And then Jay shows why he's a true pioneer, why he's a true leader for the New Japan locker room, and why is he a world champion for that reason.
At such a young age, too.
Man,
He's not even 30 yet.
Oh, he's pretty at his peak of his prime.
Yeah.
He said, yes, he did. Yeah, you know what? Yes, agreed, Brian. I'm with you 100%, man. I wish.
Facts. That's true.
That's why, that's what we do here. We let the people know. We let them know that, hey, this is why what happened. That don't jump the gun right away. Oh, that's selfish. You cannot be selfish about that. But this match,
it was obvious he was really hurt from the moment he just dropped. Like, come on, it wasn't like he ducked the Rainmaker and then like ran against. He ducked and collapsed. So obviously something's wrong. You just want him to roll out and fucking continue the matchup. Like, come on.
And here's the picture. There you go.
Yes.
That's great.
That's when Okada just came. Yeah, they know each other for that long. So, hey, kudos for them. I'm glad they got their moment. And so, awesome way for Adam Cole still. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Like Shawn Michaels. But all right. Any final thoughts on the co-main event, gentlemen?
I'm glad this wasn't the match that ended the show, because remember we were trying to figure out what match is going to end the show. If this ended the show and that's the way it ended, it could have, put a stink on the rest of the show. But I'm glad that it didn't. But everyone showed out. I just hope Adam Cole has a speedy recovery.
Yeah, I was hoping for like a tidbit, even if Kenny Omega wasn't coming back. Maybe you had Don Callis come out to tease something where he says something to Jay White. But I understand why they didn't, because maybe he's not coming for a while. But you had to have Jay White win this, and then to have him pin Adam Cole was, to me, kind of the only outcome you could do. And it sucks because Adam Cole is a great wrestler, but with how they showcased Hangman Page, I think he still has a little bit left in it to have a say in the title picture in the future.
Absolutely, of course. This was not going to be the main event, but because this guy would have.
I ain't doing that shit.
No, he wasn't doing that shit because he should have been the main event, in which he was the main event, and that is for the interim AEW World Championship. We heard Jon Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, and man,
another happy accident.
Another happy accident, but all I can tell you, this match was
such good shit.
It was good shit, I'll tell you that. And it did deliver, believe it or not. We finally got to see these two mano a mano after 3 years avoiding each other. And it finally happened. Man, and of course, Moxley being the interim AEW World Champion. And man, incredible moment for Jon Moxley. But I know a lot of people talk about the ending because of the way how it ended with Jericho Caller's Jazz coming out and making the attack. Of course, seeing Cesaro. There's a 50-50 where I see in the whole IWC, I read about it as like, they shouldn't end this way. It should have been more of a handshake for New Japan and AEW to end the show with Tanahashi and Moxley ending the show that way. Or it should have been everybody coming out from New Japan, hey, celebrating, like, hey, great show tonight. But it ended with just a brawl. And it just ended seeing Eddie Kingston being pissed off because Claudio's here. And he was just upset. And it just ended that way. So I know.
They did have a moment where they had just Tanahashi and Moxley in the ring. They did shake hands.
Yeah.
And then they did have that moment where Tanahashi went down like this as like the sign of respect, and then they had Moxley do the same thing as well. And he talked about afterwards, like that was a sign of respect from him. He's one of his idols, and it was an honor for him to win the title, but not just that, but to win it from Tanahashi. And it just shows that other side of Moxley that you don't see. And I agree with you with the whole JS thing a little bit, but you knew they were going to do something because they had to preview Blood and Guts on Wednesday. And the thing I was saying about the half and half with Kingston and Claudio is like you could kind of see a little bit of realism into there, but then that part of it has to be like a work as well, kind of like the the whole Miro and Pac thing, where he goes.
I think I'll say the Miro and God thing.
Yeah, Miro God. But you see him get in there, and it looks so real how pissed that he is that he's joining the club because of the whole thing with Shikara. And there is that little bit of in real life they did have heat with each other, or if I don't know how the backstage politics is, but the thing that made me think it was half and half is the fact that a year ago, Eddie Kingston said that he would never want Claudio to be part of AEW because he hated him. But then more recently, he put out a thing saying that AEW could benefit from having Claudio on the roster, and that even though they have heat with each other and he doesn't like him, he would like to see if they can kind of squash that.
And then he dared him. He said, "You don't have the balls to sign to AEW."
Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, wait, you do have balls to sign with us." Yeah. So I think what this is going to come in is however Blood and Guts goes. I think the first feud for Claudio is going to be with Eddie Kingston.
I'll tell you this right now, Eddie Kingston. If you can't be in this, like CM Punk is in the same company as Colt Cabana. Like after all that drama, like Kingston, you could be in the same company as Claudio. You know what I mean? I doubt it's that deep.
Yeah.
Oh man, freedom, premonition. Yes, that's what you want. Mox, maybe a Grand Slam. That could be that could happen.
Because I think at All Out it's going to be Kingston and Claudio. I think they're going to do that, but they're going to kind of save it for that pay-per-view.
Yeah, so what's going on? Championship on the Line podcast. What's going on? Alex and Rich. Of course, MGC. He's not here joining us, but he's in spirit by commenting, of course. Let's see, guess. Match title. Okay. Let's see. Rick bleeds more. Yes, because he's been give him a few years. Let's see. They never address. No, they never addressed that either. They have not, and we haven't even seen Cole on television. We noticed
Well, he resigned, but it's a Ring of Honor deal.
Yeah.
So he's only just doing the Ring of Honor deal. Okay.
Well, speaking of, shout out to the new Ring of Honor logo. That shit looks like.
I see. We told everybody.
We talked about it.
Like
they see it.
Yeah,
they say it all the time when they put out the logo. It's never the true logo. It's just
a feeler. Yeah,
like a feeler that you work with. You just want to get approved for it, and then you add to it. And I knew they were going to announce it at some point. This was the perfect time to. I might actually think about. I'm thinking about going to the event next month because it's only like a 5-hour drive for me to Massachusetts because of a lot of the build-up that they've done with it already. But it was cool that they did a very good logo.
I love how they put the red back in it. It looks like the old school logo.
And it looks like they're going to try and get the ball rolling on regular TV with it after that event. I think they're going to see how the event goes, and then the rumor is it's going to be back on TV full time by the fall. So
I'm looking forward. Me too.
Yeah.
And man, yes, I think we're all excited. We're still waiting to see what the matches, the card will be announced. That's what I can.
Ring of Honor saved my fandom for wrestling. So honestly, I'm all
well, of course, you know they're going to have Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal on that. You're probably going to have what it looks like. It's probably going to be Gresham against Brian Cage. That's what they. And then from what they've been teasing, I saw it on YouTube with Smart Mark pulling out a little thing with there. You're going to have Wheeler Yuta and Tony Nese for the pure title.
I like that.
Because Smart Mark has been politicking doing the whole promo. He's like, Tony Nese for the pure title. They're like, forget Wheeler Yuta, yada yada. Tony Nese is your guy. I'm his handler. Smart Mark, vote for him to get the next title shot, and it was great. So those are 3 matches, and then of course we can't even forget FTR and whoever they defend the tag titles against. So they're building like a good card right now with it just being announced with all the tidbits that they've been announcing so far.
Mm-hmm. Oh, me too. I'm waiting for that too. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
But yes, De Niro, talk to me about the main event.
I think that was a really good matchup. And Hiroshi Tanahashi, kind of like Sting, he's not as old as Sting, not nearly as old as Sting. But like I said, like, you know how Sting has been like nonstop and still going. Tanahashi's been nonstop for like the last 2 decades, and to still be putting on main event caliber matches like he's doing, it's insane. This was a great matchup. Everything he did looked crisp, high fly flow, flying ace, everything was just so like perfect. Jon Moxley and him meshed really well with each other. I didn't like the fact that Jon Moxley was bleeding from a sling blade though. Like no one really saw like how he started bleeding.
There was a headbutt. That's why there was a headbutt right after that it caused him to get to bleed, because at the there was a headbutt that I think Tanahashi did it, and they actually made full contact, and I think that's what busted him open.
And then he was hard way.
And then he made it too obvious when he cut himself. He made it too obvious cutting himself open, because I don't know if the camera caught it, but everybody could see the blade on the ground where he did it on the outside.
Because I saw Tanahashi hit the sling blade, and then next thing you know, I see Jon Moxley bleeding. I'm like, how do you get cut open from a sling blade? I see people get cut open from a razor blade, but not a sling blade. But anyway, like it was definitely a good match. Definitely felt like the main event, because you know the Forbidden Door is a term that Tanahashi created. It was a term that was brought to life by Jon Moxley. This was a match that's 3 years in the making. Great main event. I think it lived up to the hype. As for everything that went down afterwards, I think that's, like I said last week on the show, I said that
it's a bait, homie, right?
I said last week on the show that AEW should have had like a week after Forbidden Door and then do Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts is one time a year, it seems like. Blood and Guts is one of their big marquee matches, and this is a match that they've really been building up towards. But it's a match that was more in the shadows of Forbidden Door. So there wasn't too much build towards Blood and Guts because everything that's been going on with Forbidden Door in New Japan. So it's like we didn't have that type of like last minute push for it, because even the go home show, last week's show, could have been the push for Blood and Guts, but we had to build up Forbidden Door.
I think what happened was this is where Punk and Hurt kind of hurt that, because it was supposed to be Punk and Tanahashi, and then you would have done that whole brawl somewhere else.
Well, it was supposed to be Moxley. I was hearing was supposed to be in the opening matchup. Moxley was supposed to be teaming up with either. I think he was going to be in Yuta's spot. It was going to be Moxley, Kingston, and Shota. So, like, that was the original plan for Mox. So, with that, like, you could have had that, like, last build for the Blood and Guts match in the opening segment. But since, like, things happened the way it happened, and it is this week, you had to give that last-minute build and that last-minute push. And you know a lot of people tuned into this pay-per-view, so it was one more reminder that we have this war going on, and it's all going to culminate on Wednesday. So I think that it was just, like, a last-minute thing to really promote Blood and Guts.
Yeah, and then Claudio wasn't even supposed to be in this. They were going to debut him later, and but because of Bryan Danielson not being cleared, they had to push him up into this match with Sabre Jr. So a lot of these injuries and like kind of like alternative matches kind of led to what happened. It just
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. I feel like, you know, I don't know. It just seemed like they could have benefited from one more week before Blood and Guts to give that final push without having to put that on the pay-per-view and like blurring like the AEW storylines with the whole show of being like AEW versus New Japan. As for like, you know, this matchup, like I said, it was a great matchup. And as for a show overall, like we all thought that the show was cursed. All the injuries going in, you know, even the injuries during the show, Adam Cole gets injured, Dax gets injured. But still, overall, this was a phenomenal pay-per-view. For what they had, every match delivered. The crowd was on fire. Even the buy-in delivered. This whole show was just phenomenal. So I think that for what they had, with all the injuries and all the bad luck and all the curses going on, I think that this was a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
So now here's the biggest question for both of you guys. Was this worth spending $50? Because a lot of people question that. You know, because they had it at the movie theater for $15. Even on Fight TV in the UK, they had it cheaper than the States did. Khan did mention it during the media post-scrum. Yes, it did oversell for over, I think, 5 million, I believe it was, that it sold in 1 million in ticket sales, and I was like, damn, it was a lot, So I mean,
it was worth my $25 ticket. I'll tell you that.
Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay was worth $50. So everything else was a freebie. So to answer that, I think it was well worth $50. They give you so much.
Granted, me flying there, then having to get a hotel for a couple of days, but just the $25 ticket was well worth it. And I got the ticket on Tuesday, only a few days before the event, so that made it even better.
Definitely well worth the money.
It was well worth the money. I mean, so 1 million in ticket sales and 5 million in pay-per-view revenue. So they did. I mean, even though with the card changing, with everything last-minute stats, it delivered. So I mean, I can literally grade this. For me, I'll grade it. I'll grade it an A. I'm not adding a plus or an A because the only thing that I had my ups, my downs was the announcing that I wish they could have done that. They needed to give that audience the New Japan feeling, not him just towards the end doing the announcement. No. And one thing that everybody missed was they didn't do it in the beginning for Okada's entrance, with the zoom in and zoom out camera angle. They did it until during the middle of the match. I'm like,
when he hit the pose, right?
Yeah, when he hit the pose. He should have done it in the beginning, damn it. Yeah. That's what it should have been in
I was wondering why he didn't do it again. I'm like, why didn't they do Zoom? Man, and I thought maybe they did it when he got on the top rope to do his thing. But then that was very cool still to see the Zoom in the middle of the match. And people
I wish they could have done it in the beginning, though. That would have been awesome to do it in the beginning.
And a thing that I liked, but I don't think you guys saw it, was Tony Khan came out in the beginning. And then it came out in the end. He was hyped up. He brought out -1. -1 was at was that Forbidden Door. He brought him out, and he actually let him close out the show. He gave -1 the mic. They had the Blackpool Black Club in the ring, and he was like, just thanking the crowd, whatnot. He said he's built up so much respect for -1 that he had confidence to give him the mic to close out the show. And then he had -1 closed out. He was like, thank you to these guys in the ring, blah, blah, blah. It was like they balled out, yada, yada. It was like, hope to see you guys again. And then, of course, Tony Khan came out, took the mic, and did his ending. But it was cool to see that -1 was there. That he still gives his love. And then, I didn't mention it before, was the other signing that they did, underage sign that they did, Nick Wayne, because he's only 16. He was at Warrior Wrestling. This guy has so much talent. I just wanted to say he has so much talent. And from the match that I saw him do earlier in the day, I can't wait till he turns 18 so I can see him in AEW full-time.
He's definitely good.
So, he is so amazing, especially with what I saw him in at that event. I can't wait because he's doing a lot of these GCW and indie events now that he's out of school this year. But by this time next summer, he will be 18, and you're going to see what he has to offer AEW.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big fan of him from what I saw in GCW and even some of his stuff in CZW with Jordan Oliver. I was a fan of.
So what do you grade this, gentlemen? So I give it an A.
I agree. I give it an A too.
Yeah.
I can't really, think of anything I disliked on the show. There were some things that were just unfortunate, like the Adam Cole injury. I don't know. Like looking back on it, I just felt like, there's shows where I'm in there, like, thinking like an analyst trying to like break everything down. And then there's shows where I just get lost in it and I'm a fan and I'm just like enjoying everything where I'm not even taking notes. I'm just enjoying it. And this is one of those shows. So I think that without a doubt, A.
I agree. I agree with that. And just like we said, with all the injuries and all the fluctuating around the matches, I said it before, that 3-on-3 match with the Young Bucks was moved around 12 times with 12 different combinations. So that's how many times they had to fix this card. And then, of course, our match of the night, Ospreay and Orange Cassidy, happy accident because they were supposed to have Andrade into it. So I felt like it was an A just because of what they had. It left minus all the big time injuries, and he still performed. The crowd was still into the whole show, packed crowd, and they did what they needed to do.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely. I mean, I think, yeah, see, like how Underground Triple C Pac finally is a champion doing. Yes, he did. Yes, I'm very happy that you guys have that now. I think we see more of it. But the other question now for both of you guys here is, let's see. Well, I want to hear what Devin had to say. I give it a solid. Well, you just gotta wait for that. Yeah, I love it. That's it.
Moon Friday, right?
Yep, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait. So here you go. I'll give it to you, Devin. I'll give it to you.
I love it.
Yes, I'll give it to you, my brother. I can't wait to hear. So yeah, that's why you subscribe and listen to Clark Street Wrestling Podcast so you can get their thoughts. I'm looking forward to get their thoughts. But to see, it was worth every penny to see Pac becoming the champion, doing us UK proud. So it was worth my ticket and me coming over the pond as well. Absolutely, I'm glad he had a great time, man. I'm really happy you guys had a phenomenal time for that. But the biggest question now, I know they asked Tony Khan during the post-media scrum, they asked him, hey, so are we going to see this relationship again? I mean, so far, the way how it sounds, they said yes. We loved it. We enjoyed it. We thank New Japan, Bushi Board, for working with us and hoping to work in the future maybe sometime. But they interviewed Bushi Board, and they're asking, okay, well, now we want our Forbidden Door in Japan. So
I was just gonna say, does that mean that I was thinking since they did it here, are we gonna get one, say at like the Tokyo Dome or
Day 3 of Wrestle Kingdom, like just like last year, or this year with Noah?
Like Noah, yes,
yeah,
they could do that.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, where we get something like that, where okay, we did it on your turf, now we're gonna do it on our turf. So that'd be awesome.
If that's the case and we see it in Japan, then I'm not too mad at this show looking like an AEW show and not a joint show, because we already know when they go to Japan, it's going to be a AEW feel. I mean, a New Japan feel. So I'm over here. It's late over here, but no, yeah. So definitely, I feel like if they do it again in Japan, that's going to be amazing. I think without a doubt, like this has to be like a yearly thing. Like I would love if this becomes like a part of their pay-per-view library. If they could do Forbidden Door, and then if they could expand on it, if they could do Forbidden Door Mexico and do a show with AAA, or if they could do
just like what Ring of Honor and New Japan did. They were supposed to do that second show at Madison Square Garden, but the pandemic killed it. So what that was supposed to be again is what this is going to hopefully turn into.
For sure. This was a success. It was a financial success, and I think it was a creative success. So I hope that this only leads to them feeling like, all right, let's do it again. Only thing is, I just hope that going forward, maybe like I said last week, AEW could give a little bit more like promotion to New Japan, like talk about on AEW Dynamite, talk about New Japan World, talk about how you can see the shows, bring up that they have a show coming up, bring up that they have a big tournament coming up. This way, cross promote so you could help each other grow instead of it just being me versus you.
I did like how the pay-per-view wasn't just on Fight, but for everybody in Japan, you could watch it on the New Japan Pro Wrestling World app. I did like that because then it still allowed their crowd to get to see it in Japanese or however they did it over there. So I did like all that because that made it super accessible for them.
100%.
Yeah, look, and then I'm with you too. I think that'll be they should do it in Japan. I think New Japan deserves their spot now. Yep. Do us a day 3, like night 3 for Wrestle Kingdom in January. They have plenty enough time, and hopefully by then the New Japan crowd itself could be more open and vocal of cheering, and because the one thing I did like that we see all the New Japan stars, they enjoyed that crowd feeling momentum. You see Okada was in it. You see Shingo was in it. You see even kind of Mauro Desperado, everybody that were all really into it. Even if you go to it, Yoshi Hashi, it was fantastic to see them to have those reactions, which they have not have gotten still to this day.
They had it for so long, yeah.
So I'm hoping they get it too. And yes, I think down the road we should get Forbidden 2 in Japan. I think this should happen.
And that's where we can get that Punk Tanahashi match.
Yes, we can actually get it
Very,
there, and
very
also
possible,
we could get Muda versus Sting right there. There you go. But
Back
it all
in the Tokyo
depends.
Dome.
Back in the Tokyo Dome, it all depends on
You get
people who want to travel.
You have the Japanese commentary where you can get Jushin Thunder Liger doing the commentary.
Oh man, definitely. But this event did have us go. Yes, it did. Many times it happened. And of course, it was just we
got a 33 and a third chance of winning, but I got a 66.
Okay, maybe we did. Maybe.
What?
Sorry, Austin. I didn't know. But you know what we should do though? They should make this time just all AEW stars versus New Japan stars. Don't mix it up. They should make it.
And like I said, do House of Black versus House of Torture for the never open weight tag titles.
Let's fucking go.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I agree. Let's see. Milano Collection. Yes. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for spending here with us, giving this recap show for Forbidden Door. And don't not forget, of course, to subscribe to our brothers, to the Wrestling Delorean Podcast and Cage My IQ. Make sure the description's right below where you can follow them. And, because they're the ones who gives the people what they want, Dirty Heels. And because they add that
aggression.
They do add that ruthless aggression. And it's
son of a bitch. What? It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
Oh, son of a bitch. That's the best part of it.
Yes. Oh, yes. Hopefully we get Punk Kenta. Maybe Wrestle Kingdom we might get that. Hopefully we do. We hopefully will get that. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'm going to give the floor to mis hermanos. Let them know once again where could they find the glorious ones of all, especially De Niro. Where could they find you once again?
We're Wrestling Delorean Podcast on all podcast platforms: iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that good shit. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can find me on Twitch, bringing back the Twitch streams, Twitch at The Wrestling Delorean. Here on YouTube, we're going to be revamping the YouTube, maybe doing more like live shit on YouTube. So the Wrestling Delorean Podcast on YouTube. On Instagram at Wrestling Delorean Pod, Twitter at W_Delorean Pod, TikTok, Wrestling Delorean Pod. For sure, definitely subscribe, download, all that good shit. Make sure you download Cage My IQ and to subscribe to him. Follow Circle Debate, subscribe to Circle Debate. All the people in the comments, shout out Kofi Weeson. I see you right now. Shout out Dirty Heels, Clark Street, Top Rope Wrestling. Everybody in the comments, I appreciate everybody for always showing love.
That's right. Thank you, Kofi. I appreciate you. Even though you caught us right towards the end, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But Big Dan, let the people know where can they find.
Yeah, definitely check out the Wrestling DeLorean. Check out his episode from today. Of course, he had Dom on. That's going to be a great one to listen to when I get a chance to tomorrow on my ride to the shore. Of course, I'm going to listen to that. But you can find Cage My IQ on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at CageIQ. I post all my content on there. I'm on YouTube and Instagram at Cage My IQ. Today, I had to come back to reality, so I had to record a couple of my videos for PFL 6, which is this Friday, and then of course I did another one for UFC 276. I had to do my DraftKings one because I do a prediction one and then I do a DraftKings one, and so I'm back on the grind now. I was actually happy with myself because I bet on Johnny Eblen to win against Gegard Mousasi, and then I got that right. I felt good because he dominated the fight. It was good to see he's one of my upcoming fighters that I've grown to really love. So you can check out all my content there if you're a bettor on there. And I have a couple of interviews. I finally got a hold of Thomas Lattimore. He got back to me, so I'm going to be interviewing him in the next couple of weeks. And then I have Nick designing me an intro for my show now. So I'll have an intro, so you can check that out in the next couple of weeks when I debut it on the show.
Awesome. Cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dom. I appreciate you, my
Love
brother.
you, Dom. Thank you.
And thanks for
Man,
tuning in, guys.
Yes, Devin. Thank you. Debate coming soon. Yes,
Yes,
it'll
sir.
be coming soon. Yes, it'll be coming. A debate coming soon. But yes, it is that time.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
I don't know why. I just don't know why. I gotta find another video for like no rollout. It's just like
Nah, that's too good. That's the classic.
it's a classic, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
You
That's
gotta,
right,
you gotta get the Limp Biscuit.
Rolling.
Oh yes, I have to. 7 seconds though, because YouTube then will ban me if I get it wrong. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you so much for tuning in here. We'll be back after the holidays because on July 16th is when it starts. Because that's when we'll be back to be discussing weekly for you guys for the G1 Climax 32, ladies and gentlemen, the 50th anniversary. We'll be jumping on that.
Can't wait.
It starts like 2 weeks, and within that weekend, so we'll be on that the first week, giving the first few nights our thoughts of the matches, and we're gonna give you that every week, every Tuesday here, and we'll be discussing and giving you the updates of who's in the lead in the points, the brackets for each one of them. So I'm excited, and I know Dan and Mike are excited. I'm excited for.
Yes, definitely.
Cannot wait. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the host of TV's One I've Been See. Here with my other hosts, Mike De Niro from the Wrestling Delorean Podcast, my boy Big Dan from Cage My HQ, letting you guys know that we don't all just do podcasts. We don't. We freaking make
Over and over. Make over and over. History! Over and over and over and over.